The Nintendo Switch 2 was announced today. Rest in peace, Nintendo Switch 1. We don't need you anymore. I got together with GrandPooBear to talk about my thoughts, his thoughts, feelings, expectations, and worries about the new console. And here it is right here, guys. So I hope you enjoy. It is a long breakdown and in-depth discussion about everything Nintendo Switch 2. So enjoy, and thanks for watching.
All right, let's break it down. Let's kind of break it down. Let's go. First, give me your first initial thoughts, though. Just give me your first reaction right here. Give me your first initial what happens.
Dude, I'm having a hard time remembering everything that happened. It was so filled with so much. I feel like the highest points. Donkey Kong Bonanza looks insane. It's like they've made me fall in love with his new design in one trailer, and I'm so into it. FromSoft exclusive on Nintendo is the biggest power play, man.
Yeah, that was clutch. That was pretty huge. I was surprised about it was funny because they showed it and I was like, is this Bloodborne 2?
Right? Yeah.
And then they hit FromSoft and I was like, wait, this is Bloodborne 2. And I can't help but feel just like the way it looked. I was like, oh, this might have been Miyazaki's idea for Bloodborne 2. And this is why we never got it, because Nintendo bought a game from him. You know what I mean? And I think the big thing too is it's not just a From Software game; it's a Miyazaki game. He is the director. You know, this is what he's been doing since Elden Ring. So that's really crazy.
Yeah, that's it. It looks cool. It has such an awesome looking world with a little bit of more advanced technology than I think we've seen in other Elden Ring, and I guess Bloodborne had a little bit more of a gothic kind of vibe going on, and they did have I think a little bit more firearm type stuff. But there was a dude with a jetpack. The dude had a jetpack.
Yeah.
That was awesome. No,
it's also labeled as a multiplayer game. Yeah, but that could be that From Software mediocre multiplayer thing.
Yeah, that's definitely not too much to get excited about off the jump with a FromSoft game having multiplayer labeled on it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do that. Yeah, very steampunk style. But I mean, Bloodborne was kind of, very steampunkish too, that limited technology. So, and Miyazaki's games, they may all be in the same universe world, anyway. So
yeah. Honestly, trying to understand the lore of any of Miyazaki's games is like trying to get your master's degree in accounting or something. You got to put in the work, man.
You play 170 hours of a game and then you watch 42 hours of YouTube videos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh yeah, I didn't read the item description of the lost key of Mazubriel. Of course. Yeah, that explained why the frog had green shoes.
What do you think of the price point right off the bat for $449? No game in America, $500 with the game in America. That's probably $2 million in Canada.
Yeah, I did look up the conversion. I think no game, it's $627 if you do raw conversion. So I'm not excited about that. I mean, yeah, it's I think the highest launch we've ever had for a Nintendo Switch or for a Nintendo console, right? I think it's the highest price point I remember seeing before this is maybe, let me make that muted. Yeah, is the highest price point I remember seeing is probably the Wii U, which was $350, maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I forget exactly where it launched, but the Switch was very affordable, but the Switch was also very weak, right? And the Switch 2, it seems like they want to strengthen it.
Definitely more powerful.
Yeah,
definitely more powerful. I mean, it's running Elden Ring, you know what I mean? It's definitely
running
a more
Cyberpunk,
powerful console.
Yeah, it's running...
supposedly, if it's running those at 60/120 or whatever it was flexing on, I think that's, it's definitely a more impressive system. We have specs. Do we have specs right here?
Oh, we got specs?
No, I don't think this link has specs. Sorry, I sent you a link to combine our chats. That is all the info for
yes.
Pre-orders coming out April
I am
8th.
In the share. You just got to click the share chat button.
All right. Okay, I also want to ask you about right off rip. Give me your thoughts on the C button And
Honestly, I don't think they
rudimentary
spent
Discord
enough
chat.
time talking about it. I think that's my biggest. The chat button and that whole part of the direct. Yeah, I'm excited that they're doing it. I'm happy that they're doing it, and I'm excited for what it means. Like, if they're gonna be putting, screen share, voice chat, camera chat directly natively into the console as like a front running feature, you got to think that their confidence has grown in the realm of online connectivity, which is a good sign. Am I going to ever use it? No. I play Nintendo Switch at my computer every time I play it.
First of all, I know you're going to use it because we're definitely doing a Mario Party with camera from now on.
Yeah. We'll definitely use the camera, but like we'll probably be in a Discord call.
Yeah, we will be in a Discord call. We will not be using the Wii U or the Wii U, the microphone 900 feet away from you.
I know. And don't worry if somebody's making a smoothie. The microphone will still work.
That was such a weird thing because, like, you're looking at it, you're like, okay, well, that's Discord, right? Okay, it was more Discord. Can you not put away everyone's picture or overlay them over the game somehow?
It looks like you could put them away.
Okay.
I think in the trailer, I think they showcased that you could like switch the focus to however you want to do it, where it's like you can have your gameplay the only thing you see, or you can have the little bar at the bottom with everybody. Because that would suck if you always in chat mode had to have them on the screen.
Yeah, I think it's it just doesn't look good. That bothered me, like the way that it kind of shapes out and like goes into the smaller screen and everything. I don't know why, but I just didn't really like that. Also, the streams of your friend's game looked like it was going to be choppy at best.
Yes, yeah. In their trailer where they're showing off the feature, it was a solid like 8 frames a second, which is fine. It's not, the stream of your friend's game feels like one of those features where it's like, if it's going to slow down my console or their console, I'd rather this not be super fast, right? Like, that is going to give an additional demand on the console. So I wouldn't expect it to be something that's like really that much of like the forefront of what they're doing. But I think it's cool. I think it's great to see Nintendo embracing what 2010 has been doing in gaming for every other console. But they actually are putting a legitimate effort into it this time. It's not that hacky solution from the Nintendo Switch 1 where you have to download the Nintendo Switch app and connect your microphone to your phone while you're playing on your Nintendo Switch to be able to chat with your friends in like a native way. Because everyone just used Discord, right?
Yeah.
So it is cool to see them building it in natively. Like, as much as they're super far behind the curve on it, it's good to see them putting the effort in.
I think it's a step forward for Nintendo, but it's still only a step to like 2017.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's weird. It's in a weird spot. But it's interesting. The mouse capability. They showed that off a lot.
Dude, okay.
They showed off the mouse capability a lot. How do you feel about it?
My gut reaction when they're like, we've got our first Nintendo Switch mouse exclusive game, my head's churning. I'm like, all right, we're gonna have Mario Paint. All right, we're gonna have. Never in a million years would I have thought wheelchair basketball was going to be their landmark idea for how to showcase mouse controls.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like, that is definitely an interesting thing, like the wheelchair basketball game. But I thought there were some things they showed off, and they're like, use the mouse on this.
And it was things that the motion controls already do really well.
Yeah, motion controls already did them really well. And I'm like, well, that feels like a kind of a weird step back too. Like, they had like maracas shaking at one point with the mouse, and I'm like, well, or like you putting with the mouse.
Yeah, when they were doing the golf with the mouse, it was literally like, dude, that's so much better. Like, that's what made the Wii fun.
Yeah, I think that part was weird to me, I guess. And
That's
I'm
what I
assuming
felt
like they
about
still have
most
gyro
of the mouse
and everything.
parts. Honestly, it was like this: you're showing off things that feel like you were already doing and better with motion controls.
Yeah.
I think
Civ 7 mouse controls look good, and then also the Metroid Prime with mouse controls. I was like, oh yeah, I've definitely played it that way.
Yeah, I'm
100%
curious
played
to
it that
see
way.
if we're gonna be able to like plug in a regular mouse and use that, because that the Switch Joy-Con 2 as a mouse doesn't look like a mouse I'm gonna want to hold in my hand for more than 7 minutes. You know, like.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like you're going to have a good time using that bad boy as a mouse. I think it's a great little thing to have, and you can like put it on your, coffee table in the dining room if you're, hanging out with your family or whatever, if you're a kid. But if I'm playing Metroid Prime 4 for 8 hours in a session, I'm going to want to use like a regular mouse or just play with the control sticks, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Metroid Prime 4 is the one I was like, oh yeah, definitely playing it with that one. Because like, I'm going to be so accurate. I'm going to be insanely accurate like that.
And it's actually interesting because Metroid Prime, like, combat is almost like designed and built in a way where you don't need to worry about having good aim because like they know, the game is designed in that way. You're on a console. You don't need to be able to like aim really well. So we'll see how that ends up feeling. Yeah, with like aiming around instead of just locking on to the dude and having your bullet just follow him.
Yeah. I'm very, very curious as well. It's definitely, I'm definitely hyped for it. Like, I'm glad it has it. But I was bummed that they didn't show something like a Mario Paint or just like some sort of dumb stuff that you can just like mouse around with. You know, I thought that was a missed opportunity.
Like it would have been. It felt like it would have been like the easiest thing to build and include, and that it wasn't was like, what, dude?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take 2 seconds to talk about the biggest part of that trailer, right? The Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Can you give me your thoughts and impressions on the Welcome Tour?
Oh man. I mean the first thing I thought is like, okay, they're trying to do like a little Astrobot thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's gonna be a pack-in, right? As soon as they said paid downloadable game, I was shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked that they're gonna make you pay for that. Make you pay to learn about the console. I don't know. That was a very weird thing to do to make that paid. I feel like that's like an easy pack-in game.
Yeah.
I don't know why they just don't do it.
It doesn't even look like a game. Like it looks like an instruction booklet.
Yeah, and not even an instruction booklet, like literally just like an edutainment, but the edutainment is learning about the magnets on your console.
It's like Mario teaches typing in its worst form.
I couldn't express how. It was kind of shocking to me because I was like, how could anyone make a launch game worse than 1-2 Switch?
They found a way, man.
And then they made a launch game significantly worse than 1-2 Switch. And I was honestly like shocked that they even thought about doing that. Hold on, I'm trying to pull it up on the trailer right now.
Yeah, it's about 18 minutes in. It seems like Catholic school WarioWare. I think that's a good way of describing it, honestly.
Astrobot, but not fun.
It's, you know what? It does feel like someone at Nintendo saw Astrobot and was like,
yeah,
that's a cool idea. We should make it awful.
It's so like it just. Even the little mini games they showed, they don't look like they do anything.
Yeah.
And I just don't. Who's gonna want to do this? When they say paid, is it gonna be like $1?
It's gonna be more than $1.
Oh my God! It is like Dean Pelton's VR experience, and Jesus wept. It should be free. This should be something that
it should be on your console when you first turn on the system, so you can play around with the mouse controls and whatever, and like get a little experience of some of the features. And if you want to learn about the magnets in your R and L buttons, like it's so weird.
Oh my! And then they like the games they show are not. I wouldn't even describe them as tech demos. They're like
they're
worse than what you get packed in with like Windows 3.1. It's shockingly weird.
I thought at first when they were showing it that it was going to be like some Miiverse type thing, because you got people like you got like little avatars all around, and it looked little billboards all around. So it definitely looked like it was going to be some sort of social experience. But no, it's just a interactive instruction manual with some like neat little trivia.
And is that insinuating that little people are living inside your Switch? Like, is that what that's
how they were able to get it to run Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom at 60 FPS, yeah.
Because, again, with Astrobot, it makes sense that Astrobot is living inside your PlayStation. I don't know if I feel comfortable knowing that there's tiny little, like, Matt Damon from that one movie People living inside my Switch.
Yeah, I mean, they're at least severed, so they don't know the outside world, right? Like,
I haven't watched it yet. I understood that reference, but I haven't watched it yet. So.
Oh, you're in for a treat. It's a great show. You're gonna love it. What about the Pro controller too? How did you feel about the look of that?
Oh, the Pro Controller 2, actually, I thought it looked sharp. The buttons look a little bit bigger. I love that it has an audio jack. Did you know it? Did you know it has the C button?
Yeah, I did know. It was front and center. It was like the most visible button.
I swear to God, if they mention that C button ever again in any other Nintendo Direct, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind. I have never felt like a more worthless, unimportant button that I'm never going to press. Like, it is so... Anyway... what I really loved about it is it had the two scuff buttons on the bottom.
The G buttons, the grip buttons.
Yeah. And that they're buttons you can just put as anything. You can make them a Y button or an R button or a D-pad button. I think that's
actually insane.
Huge.
Like I can't tell you how much time I spent. You know how much time I've spent playing Tears and Breath of the Wild. I 100%ed those games without guides, and running while being able to jump and slash in those games is a nightmare, right? Like I literally had to claw grip half the time. This is fantastic. It's so nice that natively into their Pro controller, they're adding in this extra button. And I know they're going to charge an extra $10 on the price of their controller because of it. That's okay.
I think everything's going up in price. Yeah, I think we're seeing a price hike on everything, honestly. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of price hikes, something I want to talk about a little bit is the Nintendo Switch 2 editions of games.
Yes. Did you see that if you have Expansion Pass Online, both Zeldas are free upgrades.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did make a news post specifically claiming that.
Because that was going to be my first thing, was like, how much am I going to be paying to quote unquote upgrade my games? Like, am I going to be paying for better graphics on all my games? Like, what is this going to be? It says, from what I'm seeing, it's about $10 Japanese. For these upgrades, though. That
would be fine to me if that was accurate.
I think that's okay.
I would be okay with that. Yeah, because a lot of them as well that we were seeing, they look like they're adding a little bit of additional like features and content. Like the Kirby game, Forgotten Lands, definitely is adding an additional bit of content with what they were showing, which makes sense because that game was already ran smoothly on the Switch 1, right? Like more demanding games like the Zelda games that were running at a lower frame rate definitely needed the help.
I mean, I thought
extra power.
I thought Zelda looked so pretty.
God.
They looked so pretty. I was in no desire to replay either of those games, honestly, because they're such a big, massive, long games, you know. And you know them, you kind of know them, like. But, whoo, Oh, they are very pretty, and they were running super smooth.
Yeah.
I know for someone like you, I'm sure being able to check your map on your phone or have like an active map open while you're trying to get 900 Koroks is actually probably a huge clutch
Did you
thing
see
too.
that they actually introduced a feature to track and find
Track
the Koroks? Like,
Yeah.
It's very frustrating to see.
As someone, yeah, since you did all 900 Koroks in both games, or 1100 in the second game, I forget how many there were in the second one, but
yeah, without a guide in both games.
yeah, I mean, I thought that was cool. I'm liking that, and I think that's what they're gonna have to do if they want us to pay $10 more. They're gonna have to give us more than just upgraded graphics, right? Like they need to give us a little bit of extra content. I think to make it worth it. I did see new mini games, but I didn't see any new maps in Mario Party.
No, which is if they were doing new maps, they would have showcased it, which is a little disappointing. Yeah.
Right. Because immediately what I said was I was like, oh, full maps again, guys. We got to do all the full maps, and there's no new maps.
Yeah, so I definitely expected.
Free out of that one.
I definitely expected them to include one or two new maps there, or even to bring maps from Superstar into Jamboree, because, like, why not, right?
Yeah. Someone just asked, anyone know how upgrades work if you have a physical game on the Switch 1? I would imagine that you download the upgrade, still put in the cart.
I would
speculate.
We'll have to see exactly, but expanding more on the upgrades, comparing this to our last console launch, it's very refreshing. I remember the frustration that I feel like myself and every other adopter of the Wii U felt seeing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and not having a way to upgrade from your Wii U version. Seeing, every big Wii U game that we had already bought and played and enjoyed re-released on the Switch at full price without any sort of option for us to upgrade. I already owned New Super Mario Bros. U. I already owned Mario 3D World.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to have to rebuy those games, and I didn't when I could avoid to, as my own small way of protest. You got me on every other game, Nintendo, but not on Tropical Freeze. I still will bust out the Wii U to play that one. It's nice. It's nice to see them do something that's like a little bit more pro-consumer, between giving us these the backwards compatibility, giving us these upgrade passes or whatever to our games, and also the latest feature from like the Direct last week with the virtual game carts, how you can like trade games with your buddies and your people in your family clan. I'm really happy to see this era of Nintendo as being like so good to us,
Also, the one game 4-player local, I thought that was actually huge too. They showed that off kind of just in the middle of it. But yeah, needing only one person to own a console. So we're all four together. We want to play Mario Party all on our own console. Only one of us needs the game now. And that's great. That's really great. Same thing for Mario Kart. Those things are really great. I think those are really, really huge for couch gaming, to encourage couch gaming.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really happy about that. Mario Kart shows for $79.99 on Nintendo's site, but it's only $50 if you buy the bundles. So you probably want to get the bundle. Metroid Prime 4, I feel like, is definitely not coming out till fall, though, given that they weren't like, oh, this will be out at launch, or this will have anything at launch.
Metroid Prime 4 will be a while for sure.
Yeah. And Andy you mentioned earlier, the Zelda games are going to be free with Switch Online, the Zelda game upgrades. I hope that they do more of that they have more like free upgrades with online. That's something that they could easily do, in my opinion.
Looks like the Canadian prices are up $6.99 for the Mario Kart bundle.
Why did you guys put tariffs on Japan too? My God, Jesus Christ.
That honestly, if yours is $500 for the Mario Kart bundle, that's we're on with transfer rate, that's $15 off, honestly.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's 15 Canadian less than what it would be to just transfer $500 to Canadian at this exact moment in time.
We're getting $450 and $500.
And then we're getting probably
Yeah.
6.25 or 6.30. And
Wait, how much do you get Canadian per Twitch sub though?
I get my Twitch payouts in USD, so I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was like, so you're probably making like $6 a sub then in Canadian. You know?
Yeah. No, actually, I do love getting US money as a Canadian. It makes my life a little bit better for sure.
Yeah, dude. The people working in Japan right now are going ham. So okay, let's go back. We're jumping around a little bit.
Let's start from the beginning. Let's talk Mario Kart.
Well, no, I want to keep before we go games. I want to keep talking
console?
the actual physical console.
Okay,
I do want
all
to
right.
talk the physical console before we hop into games because there was a lot of games. I think there are a lot of important games. The camera.
Yeah.
Okay, the camera.
How much do you think it's gonna cost? How much do you think the camera is gonna cost?
Oh, 50, maybe $100. Honestly.
I'm leaning closer
Definitely
to
50.
100.
You're probably right. It's probably going to be closer to $100. It's definitely going to be closer to $100. It should be 50.
Canadian is going to be $100 for sure.
Even 50, I feel like it might be expensive. But I think you're right. I think it's going to be closer to $100. The thing with the camera is everything they showed for it, I was like, oh, this looks stupid as fuck.
Dude, it literally, all I could think of was being in my friend Eric's basement when the PlayStation 2 was out with the iToy. Like, it looked like the iToy.
It looked like, yeah, and what's funny is the one game they showed off with Mario Party Jamboree where you're like literally using the camera for it, whereas, hold on, I'm gonna find that again. Yeah. I did for the fact we're definitely going to be playing Mario Party exclusively.
I'm going to buy the camera because I definitely want that for Mario Party. Yeah. I will be in on that for sure.
But what's funny about this, the Mario Party updates, and I don't know if you've been to Nintendo World yet at all.
I have not.
But okay, everything in the Mario Party update is basically kind of like a game at Nintendo World.
Yeah.
The roller coaster shooter thing, that's basically the ride that they have at Nintendo World, more or less. The camera bopping thing, that's the Bowser Jr. thing that they have at Nintendo World. It's kind of the same thing, a little bit different, obviously. But I'm very curious how the camera's gonna work with the mini games where you have to use the camera to balance Goombas on your head. Or things like that. Is the camera going to be solid? Because it doesn't look like the camera ever has good frame rate going on, So, camera, $50. Okay, $50. That's
pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable.
Better than, I will buy that, right? $100 and I was going to be really pissed off about buying it. $50, whatever, I can justify the content. I don't know how much a lot of you all will be able to justify that, but I think it's good for streamers. I think it's going to be really funny for streamers.
It will be funny. Yeah. I'm trying to find if there's Canadian pricing. I'm trying to see where on the Nintendo store we can find these numbers at.
One thing that I do think, though, the camera, the big fan in the dock, the kind of redone dock that they have, feels maybe like they're planning on you having it docked more. It feels like they're thinking of this one as a more home console that can also do handheld rather than a handheld that also acted as a home console, which I felt like they treated the Switch as.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I feel like the Switch, when it first came out, we were very excited about the mobility of it. The Switch at this point, I don't think the mobility of the Switch is that important to the majority of people who are really, really into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, the fan is going to help with keeping, obviously, with everything a fan does, keep the temperature down, keep the game running nice and the console running nice and smoothly, not damaging the console over time, right?
Yeah. I am curious, will we be able to plug in any camera or just that camera?
Yeah, I'm going to guess it's going to be proprietary. I'm
That's so
gonna assume we're not gonna have the ability to plug in any camera. That's my best guess. Because
wait. We're getting on the website. Connect a compatible USB-C camera like the Nintendo Switch 2 camera sold separately. Compatible. That can mean a lot of things.
okay.
Compatible. Top and bottom USB-C ports are clutch, but should have been there to begin with. Yeah. Compatible. That's a very big word. Compatible cameras. I would imagine that the Switch 2 cam is the one you're gonna want though.
Probably.
I just speculate it's probably gonna be the best one for it. You know, the mod adapters, you can get other cameras to work. Maybe. Let's see. Bigger hard drive. That's cool. Whatever.
Yeah, more storage. That's great. We love that. 120 FPS on the like portable screen is really cool. Being able to get 120 frames on the portable screen. Now we are going back to LCD instead of, because we have the Switch OLED.
Yeah.
We are going back to LCD here for the game.
We got to release an OLED version in 4 years.
Exactly. Yeah, we will have to have a pro version of this console come out later so that they can get a good old a big group of us to buy an additional second Switch.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that, but I am curious. The games that don't have the Switch upgrade right now, like I'm looking here, you can play Mario Maker 2, you can play Mario Wonder, Luigi's Mansion 3, Odyssey, Smash Brothers, all on Switch 2. It says that they're compatible, but they don't have Switch 2 upgrades. Are we gonna see? You think we're gonna see any performance upgrade in that? Or are they gonna look kind of like that scaled down version? Are we gonna be able to use the mouse in those games? Like
I'm
Mario
gonna doubt
Maker 2,
it.
I'm thinking
I'm gonna say that aside from not having frame drops, just performance drops just based off of being on a stronger system, I don't think, unless it has an explicit Switch 2 upgrade, I don't think we'll see or expect any difference in resolution, visuals, gameplay mechanics, gameplay options. I don't think we'll see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with you on that. And we haven't seen any. Yeah, there's nothing. They haven't shown off any of those games running on the Switch 2 either. So I don't think we're going to get anything new.
Yeah.
It says there are some Switch games that aren't compatible. I'm sure there's going to be some games third party. There's probably a lot of third party games that won't be compatible.
Mm-hmm.
The Labo stuff won't be compatible. Anything like that, probably won't be. Yeah, I'd imagine though the games you're gonna want to play will be.
It'll be the vast majority of games I think will be compatible. It's gonna be those edge cases like the Labo, which are I think gonna be the ones that are I don't think so.
Ring Fit Adventure might be left out. That one might be left out.
They do want to sell you another ring.
Yeah, that one might be left out.
Well, yeah, because it does I guess maybe a game that explicitly requires, because that one requires you to have the red and the blue Joy-Cons in specific slots and areas, right? And if the IR sensor even you wouldn't be able to dock the Switch 2 controller into the you wouldn't be able to dock it into the Ring because it's built for the Switch 1 controller. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to play Ring Fit without a new Ring. Mm-hmm. So stuff like that, I think, makes sense to not be compatible with the Switch 2.
Okay, From Software just said, we are pleased to announce the Dustbloods, a PvPvE-focused multiplayer action title for the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2. Release is currently planned for 2026. Hope you're looking forward to it. I still think that to me what that means,
you can invade other players.
It has the invasion. It has the same generic, multiplayer that it's always had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's what that means. I don't think that's necessarily multiplayer focused. Sorry, this is interesting. Looking everywhere to try to get.
Yeah, I'm peeking
Try to
over
get
to try
everything.
and pick up little bits and pieces of news too.
Sorry. All right. Anything else we want to talk about the console?
I don't know.
Itself.
I think I'm just excited that the dock has a natively built-in Ethernet core port. That's great. We no longer
Yes.
will have to worry about buying adapters for that.
$5 adapter, which is very hard to get people to buy.
Switch 2 Pro controller confirmed, 80 USD, which is nice. A pair of new Joy-Cons, 90 USD, which is kind of about the same as Joy-Cons already were.
I don't think it's steep up. And then $80 confirmed for Mario Kart 9 at least, which would make me feel like first-party Nintendo games are going to $80.
I think I just saw somewhere Donkey Kong Bonanza is going to be priced 70.
Oh, interesting.
Mario Kart's going to be 80, but Donkey Kong will be 70.
That's interesting to me. If we're going back to the Super Nintendo days where certain games are going to be
Yeah. It is interesting. Do you feel like that is something that does that annoy you, or do you like kind of vibe with and understand that?
I mean, here's the reality of it, right? I don't think GTA 6 should cost as much as like some other $60 games, right? Like I mean, I feel like that's just kind of, I think that maybe can more accurately reflect the investment put into them and this expected sales. I would say that you can get the bundle for you can get the bundle with Mario Kart. I think that's going to be the vast majority of Switch SKUs sold. Switch 2 SKUs is going to be with the bundle. I also think they know that Mario Kart 9 is going. They're going to have pretty close to a one-to-one,
yeah. And they probably
higher than, it might even be higher than 1-to-1 because there's going to be people that get the digital edition and still get a physical game.
Yeah, and you know what? There's probably like a bit of logic or motive in there to price it at $80 for the standalone, because they're doing this bundled digital version to incentivize people to buy that bundled digital version instead. Because in your head, you see it, you go, oh, I'm saving $30, instead of thinking, oh, I'm spending 50 more. I think it's like a bit of consumer shopping psychology going on there to kind of like really, because they want everybody to have Mario Kart. Mario Kart is the game that, like, on a Nintendo console of the last few consoles, is like the game that everybody owns.
And it's also the game that, like, oh, you guys want to see my new Switch?
Yeah.
We can all play Mario Kart. You know what I mean? Then you hand it to your friends. Everyone plays it. Like, it's a good word of mouth. It's a good system seller game. You know what I mean? Like they since they're not doing the sports games, if they could just put bowling in all of these consoles. And
yeah.
Now, but they don't for some reason. So I think they're fine pricing it at 80 just because everyone's going to buy it. Everyone's going to buy it.
Yeah. I am happy to see Donkey Kong Bonanza not also be 80, but
yeah,
I feel like the reality is the majority of games are likely going to be 70. I feel like the majority of games are going to be 70, and maybe we'll get the occasional 80.
Oh, okay. So we're getting some information here. Status of compatibility test for Nintendo Switch games on Switch 2.
This is okay. Yeah.
122 first-party games. Less. Maybe there's like 2 or 3 that say not compatible. I'd imagine those are Labo. Partner games have none that are not compatible, but some that have issues during startup. Labo. There it is. Labo's the one.
Yeah, when you scroll down,
specifically the VR Labo. So
games with compatibility issues on the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm opening that PDF.
Okay,
it's
and
a big old list.
You can connect the old Joy-Cons to play 1-2 Switch, Ring Fit Adventure, Game Builder Garage, or Switch Sports. Okay. So there are a list of games that will require the old things too. Mario Move It. The games that are pretty much exclusive to those
Yeah, the games that
particular
need it as
Joy-Cons.
part of their core mechanics. That makes sense. Yeah. So
Yeah.
as far as like like games like 1-2 Switch and Game Builder Garage and not something I'm thinking about on even a remotely close day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be pretty okay. But I don't think the old Joy-Cons are gonna work with new games. I think they would
Yeah,
only work with those old games.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I feel like
I
that's
mean,
probably going to be accurate.
you definitely can't dock them either.
No, no, no. They don't have magnets inside the SR and SL buttons. You would know this if you bought the Nintendo Switch instruction manual.
Oh man. Yeah.
A lot of good information here on yeah, a lot of good information here on this website though. This is good. Upgrade packs. Does it tell us how many games have upgrade packs? Which ones? Yeah, we do get a little bit of info here.
Okay, where's that? I'm missing
I'll link
that.
it in the chat right there. It has details on like what's included in a lot of these upgrade packs, but not
Jamboree
pricing
upgrade.
that I'm seeing.
Camera, game share, higher resolution, full frame rate. Come on, give us new maps, you bastards.
Yeah,
New
Breath of
modes
the
that use
Wild
mouse
and Tears are
controls.
both just getting better load times, better frame rate resolution, HDR support, and the
Pokemon
Zelda notes.
Pokemon Legends, improved performance, frame rate.
If there was one
Uh,
game that really needed better performance here, it was Pokemon. That's nice.
well, it's Pokemon Legends, not the original.
It
Like, if
is
it was the
interesting we're not
actual
seeing
Pokemon,
Scarlet Violet in this
right? Scarlet
upgrade list.
Violet
Yeah.
seems like the quintessential. Well, you know why? They shouldn't make us pay for it. They should just give us that one for free. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, they should just give us that one for free. They shouldn't make us
Apparently,
pay for
Scarlet
Scarlet
and
Violet.
Violet are confirmed to have a free one, according to Twitch chat.
Where are you guys seeing that? Scarlet Violet
Yeah,
confirmed to have a
I'd
free
love
one.
a source. I'd love a source.
I know there's so much news coming out right now.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. All the confirmed free updates for Nintendo games here. Oh,
Okay,
thank
free
God.
updates.
ARMS is getting its free update. Captain Toad. Oh, Mario Odyssey
Wonder.
too. Wow.
Mario Wonder. Oh, what is Mario Wonder getting? Probably just sharper graphics. Okay, cool.
Improved
Cool, cool, cool.
performance adds support for features such as game share in select
Love that.
games. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, love that. That's really good. I'm glad we're getting some free ones too. That
Yeah.
that seems fair, especially for the Pokemon. Especially
Yes.
for Pokemon.
Especially for Pokemon.
All right, it's a good segue into games here, though. One
Sure.
thing I think we were really missing was 24 cameras on Mario Kart on the little guy. Like your little guy has a little camera above him. As you pass them, you can see their little camera. Am I wrong about that? Am I alone in wanting that? So
I think that's a feature I would turn off on like day 2 if it was a thing. I'm gonna be honest.
really,
Yeah, I think I'd turn
really,
that one off pretty quick.
you don't want to play this game with your chat and then all of a sudden just be blind flowing or flying by them with a mushroom and then just see like penis.
If you weren't gonna say it, I was. Yeah, I think it would be. I'm always like a little bit. I'm always a little bit
There's gonna
like,
be
you know
so
what?
many
Keep my humans out of my video games. Keep my real life faces and content out of my
Bro.
video games.
I actually am. The one thing I will say is I feel like for all the reasons that Nintendo hasn't done this before, like, parental
Yeah.
worries, I feel like we're in the top time for things to go wrong with this,
Yeah.
Like, I am very curious about how I mean, I know they said they can have parental controls and everything, but like, if you just get into a random game in Mario Kart and you click that C button, like if you group with a random party, are you going to just start video chatting with random people.
I don't think you'll be able to group with someone who's not on your friends list. I'm going to assume you won't be able to group party chat with someone if they're not on your friends list, knowing Nintendo.
Reddit is going to be filled with a lot of Drake listeners.
Oh my God.
My free cams is moving to Mario Kart. My free Mario Kart.
So this Mario Kart, we are we ready to dive into it?
Yeah, I think we dive into this Mario Kart.
Okay, great. Because I'm pleased. What are your first impressions looking at this new Mario Kart?
Okay, the first things, I mean, outside of noticing 24 people right off the top, the tracks looked huge.
Mm-hmm.
Huge. And not just like long, huge. I mean, they're significantly wider, which makes sense because we have, a lot more, double the carts on there. But also they looked like they're going to be filled with like options of ways to go through them. You saw like the wall riding, the Tony Hawk grinding, things like that. It just looks like they're going to have a large variety of ways to approach them. And I think you probably, because of the open world design of the game, I expect to have a bit more open world into these tracks too as well. But like right off the bat, initial reaction, holy fuck, does it look pretty.
It looks really nice.
God damn, it looks so gorgeous.
Yeah. I love the way that it looks. I feel like after Mario Kart 8, it was like hard to imagine like what are they going to really do to twist this around more. I feel like they kind of figured out like a lot of what they had going, and they just took it and just expanded, right? Like they added jet skis and snowmobiles to specific sections, which is cool. They added the wall rides, the grinding. And what I'm excited about is when Mario eats a burger and he gets a cool new costume. We've got cosmetics for our characters coming in as well, which is like, who doesn't love that, right? At one point in these in the Nintendo Direct, you see like Pimp Daddy Waluigi, you see Arabian Nights Wario, you see Farmer Luigi, you got like Punk Skater
Gimp
Girl
outfit.
Peach,
Gimp outfit Bowser. We just passed him actually.
I think it's super cool.
And I think with the expanded players, having 24 players on there, having more cosmetics is going to be actually really clutch for everyone, because you're going to want to look unique, you're going to want to feel unique, and having just like 8 different skins of the same player is not going to hit the way that Farmer Luigi and Gimp Suit Bowser. This Bowser looks badass actually. Tons of first-time characters.
The cow. I saw the cow, dude.
The little tree guys from Sunshine were in there. I don't know what those guys are called. Just the cow, the random cow is something like just seems like a random cow. I'm looking at a dolphin. Right now looks like
I think I saw a bee. I think the bees from Mario Galaxy at 1.2.
That makes sense that we have the bees.
Didn't see
any battle mode or anything.
No.
Yeah, I didn't see any battle mode, which I thought was interesting. I'm curious of how the grinding is going to work. Like, how much are you going to be able to, like, are you going to have to balance it like Tony Hawk? Are you just riding on it? Is it on rails? That's interesting. The gameplay looks like traditional Mario Kart gameplay.
Yeah.
One of the things I did notice, and I don't know if you noticed this, but as a race fan, the two things that I'm actually really excited about, just like coming from sim racing, one, they have rolling starts now.
Yes, I did notice that. I was very excited about that because the whole idea is the world is connected. So you drive from course to course in the Grand Prix, and you have that rolling start as you're going. It's so cool.
Yeah, and I actually think, like, let's say you're playing like multiplayer, you're doing 24 players going from course to course. Instead of having like the way you ended the race decide your next, like where you start the race next, it's going to be your drive over to that next race that decides where you start that race. So it's almost like like a sprint in race weekend. So I actually thought that was like really, really cool. I really, really enjoyed that. The wall rides looked awesome. Kind of added a bit of verticality into the game. It was funny
Love a
because like
little bit of verticality.
as soon as they showed it, I was like, oh, they copied Curiosity. So cool.
That's really funny. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm really excited about it. It just looks so cool. I think the open world stuff I feel like addresses like my deepest desires since my youth, and that's been why did they never take a crack at what Diddy Kong Racing did so well in giving us like a hub world, right? It seems like maybe it's not exactly a hub world, but being able to just go in and drive around from one course to another in like free roam mode is so cool. And if there's like fun secrets hidden around and like maybe like some of these unlockable costumes, you're going to have to drive around in free roam mode and like explore and find a hidden cave. And then, King Boo's mustache. Well, if you drive through these 17 rings in under 7 seconds, you know what I mean? Like, so cool.
Yeah, I actually really like, this is the first time where I'm thinking to myself like, oh, I'm going to play the single player game of Mario Kart and really, and probably enjoy it. Like,
that's pretty big. I know you're not that huge on Mario Kart 8, so I know that's a lot coming from you.
I like Mario Kart 8, but I'm not like, I haven't gone out, I haven't practiced it, you know what I mean? It's clear I haven't played it a ton, but I like Mario Kart 8 just like everyone else. This one I'm just significantly more excited about. The racing looks really good. It looks like, coming from like a sim racer, I don't know. It looks like it just definitely takes like racing more serious in this one, weirdly. Right off the bat. And then the open world stuff is appealing. Like, who doesn't like finding a secret every once in a while? And I'm very curious if like we're gonna be able to do the campaign together, like in a co-op type of campaign, because that'll be really, really awesome. I'd really, really enjoy that. The dolphin is Tetsuki.
Oh, Totsugeki. Yes.
Tetsugeki. God, guys, don't y'all know? Haven't you? You've been playing Bizarre. You've been watching me play Bizarre the last week. Jeez, you should know.
That game's so good.
Dude, Bizarre is so fun.
I want to catch some of your VODs of it because I haven't been able to catch you playing it live.
Is it weird I'm getting annoyed at the people playing the other roguelike and missing out on Bizarre? I'm like, what are you doing? That other roguelike does not have a deck builder included with it too.
The other one's also great though. I highly recommend.
It is good.
Very fun. Back to Mario Kart though. We see a distinct I think 7 plus 8, 15 different either courses or rallies or whatever you want to call it, right? Yeah. So
I'm wondering if each world has its own set of tracks. We have the Grand Prix mode. It showcases a distinct 7 selectable Grand Prix, each of those containing 4 courses, I assume, and it shows you a small preview of some of the levels in that first one. We see what is it right here? I think it's DK Cyberport was in there, which sounds awesome. Yeah, we get to see a couple of them actually. Mario Bros. Circuit, classic. Crown City, sounds cool. Whistle Stop Summit, sweet. DK Spaceport looks badass. They go to the Flower Cup, Shy Guy Bazaar. Oh my God, Wario Stadium, Airship Fortress. Tons of great, cool looking levels. We've got another like snowboarding level. They're showing off a lot of selectable courses, and then in their rally mode they have another separate, and I don't know if these count as like the same levels in different orders in a rally or if they're like their own individual different levels, but if that's a total of 15 selectable groups of 4 courses, that's a lot. That's 60 maps on launch. That's a lot. I don't think that's unrealistic, just looking at how big this overworld is. And, I'm looking at it, and it seems like there's like one outdoor map, and it seems like one outdoor kind of track that has, like, if I'm just looking at this big overworld map, one outdoor track that's like obvious on there, but then there looks like there's indoor areas too, which I imagine contain like, subworld tracks of some sort.
That makes sense, yeah.
There might be a lot of tracks. There might be a lot of tracks, and it makes sense. Like people are gonna want a lot of tracks. They're coming from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's not like
Yeah,
easy to
they've
give
kind of
people less.
spoiled us by the slow drip of, we had Mario Kart 8 got its own DLC during the Wii U, and then they decided to double that. So
yeah. Wait, you have to sign up for what? We have to sign up for the Switch too? Can I not buy more than one?
there was a thing on the Nintendo website to like sign up to show interest or something. I don't know.
Registration on their site. I just want to buy it from Best Buy, like, because I want to go pick it up.
Yeah, I also am waiting for my pre-orders to open up, but I don't think they'll open up until
pick it up. Yeah, I want to go pick it up. Seems to have some anti-scalper stuff. Well, I just have a lot of people in my household, and I want to give one or two away.
Yeah, I think capstoning on Mario Kart. I think their Grand Prix mode is gonna be, sorry, not their Grand Prix, their Grand Rally mode. How after each like phase of the race, only the top X people pass. I think that's a really fun. It reminds me of like playing arcade racers. I think that's a really cool mode, really cool idea. And I'm just excited, man. I think it looks cool. I think it looks fun. I was definitely expecting new Mario Kart to... I wasn't expecting to be disappointed, but I feel like they've kind of landed everything that I want out of this.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of me is like, well, what else could they do with Mario Kart after Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?
Exactly.
And I think this is where I wanted to see. The only thing I'm really curious about is how these, like, it does look like every track is really wide. For better or worse, and I'm just curious how that's gonna play out throughout of it. Are they gonna have battle mode out the box again? That's something that Mario Kart 8 didn't have right away. They didn't get it till Deluxe, so
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when you think about it, this is the first new Mario Kart in what, like 12 years?
Yeah, long time.
Years.
Long time.
Been a long time since we had a true new Mario Kart. So
they owe us a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to see. And now, actually, just looking at it, it looked like there was like free world open mode with 5 people. I just saw a little spot, so I'm curious if that means you can free world open mode with everyone.
They definitely did show specifically like a part where you're free roll open mode with like a couple of friends taking screenshots. So
I wonder if there's gonna be, so like, all right, you're driving to the next race. You could drive right there and start first, or you could drive around and get power-ups or things for
maybe
this kind of gamble. Yeah, they could do that. Yeah.
Maybe pick up some coins by taking a slight detour.
Yeah. They just showed 5 right there. Open mode looks like a way more fleshed out version of Lego mode. Right here, there's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in open world mode right there. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything. I don't know if I have anything negative to say. I'm trying to be nitpicky here about this Mario Kart trailer, and I don't know if there's anything nitpicky I can give you.
Honestly, yeah. If I couldn't really come up with it looks very exciting. I don't have any real strong criticisms based off of what we've seen either. Like, the character roster looks massive. They've introduced cosmetics. They've introduced a few new like actual gameplay mechanics. I like that they're taking some inspiration or at least notes and continuing their kind of trend with Mario Wonder, where the very beginning you see Mario's little cheeky wink. He's and expand like on that, like even in the DK game trailer, like his face is so expressive. They're doing a lot with their characters to just make them more fun and expressive and cool in these trailers we've seen today, which I like a lot. I like it a lot. I guess the one thing we maybe don't see is cart customization. I don't know if that was present in the trailers at all.
Well, they don't show it, but I mean, you can see there's like everyone's driving around a completely different thing.
It would be crazy for them to take it out. but you don't
Yeah,
see it. That's for sure.
But I am curious how that's going to play out to like the snowmobiles. Are the snowmobiles another cart, or was that just exclusive to the snow? Were the jet skis another cart? Was that just exclusive to water? You know, like, is it going to show in there? It's very, I don't know. That's going to be interesting on how that works. I agree. But right after that, they jumped into, the C button in the game chat. And playing Mario Kart with game chat with your most diverse friend group right here. You know what? Thank you, Nintendo. We love you still. We appreciate you not caving in. Anyway, yeah, the US feed had audio desync and didn't show the Gungeon trailer at all.
Oh, they didn't show it?
No, the US feed just completely missed it just froze during the Gungeon trailer.
Oh, I switched to the UK feed pretty once the delay got pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah, it froze during the Gungeon trailer, and that's when I switched to UK feed.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was super interesting. I do the one thing I will say about game chat is I don't know, I actually think game chat might be bigger with the fact that you all can play your own game and sit there and watch each other.
Yeah, that is really cool, honestly. I like that about it a lot. Just kind of, it reminds me of hanging out in Discord with my buddies while I'm playing, or honestly, it reminds me of being a teenager, being in Ventrilo, playing, I'm playing Diablo 2 and my buddy's playing World of Warcraft, but we're still just hanging out chatting.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's what they're going for sure.
Again, they're nailing 2010. They're taking 2010 and they're putting it in 2025, and they're doing a great job. So, good job, great stuff, Nintendo.
Really, really crushing that part. Memories of playing Uno on Xbox 360. That's exactly what it's like. They need to bring back the 1 vs 100 game. That's what they really need to bring back from Xbox Live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, hitting the nostalgia button. I feel like this is the group chat feature is going to be used by less than 10% of console users.
Yeah,
that C button is.
It's not going to be that
C
important.
button is just not it. I just don't foresee people using that often. But hey, teach their own. We already talked about the game sharing. That's cool. We did talk about the should be pack-in game.
Yep.
That's not. Ugh. Let's see. We got red cartridges.
I like that. I like the different color cartridges.
They're faster. Yeah, they're faster. Yeah. Clearly. I wonder if they'll still taste like shit.
I hope so.
That's to be the first thing we have to try. I mean,
Day one. I'm eating my if I'm buying the digital version of Mario Kart with my console, I won't have a cartridge to taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to wait till Donkey Kong.
What is it? We need micro SD express cards? Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I didn't know there was a different type of micro SD card. But honestly, I'm not annoyed or upset about that. If it's I would have
bought a new one anyway.
We need our storage to be fast. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I would have bought a new one for it anyway, so it's not that huge a deal to me.
What is micro SD express?
I don't know if you noticed, but Chance Time now rolls on Mario Party if you have the camera attached.
That was really cool.
Chance
Micro
Time
SD
has
Express is it utilizes PCIe and NVMe standards to get much faster read-write speeds. So basically, they don't want your memory card to be slow as shit because they want their load times to not be terrible. That makes enough sense to me.
I think that's fair. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. It's not great, but I don't. How much are those cards? Are they expensive?
They're probably I would imagine they're reasonable. If you buy the Nintendo branded one, I'm sure there's the stars printed on it premium, but it's probably fine.
You're stealing this remark from someone in Raise Fair chat, but gaming technology is stagnated to the point where Nintendo's hardware is finally caught up.
Yeah, that's actually so true.
All right. They showed off the Mario Party stuff. I do I like everything. I just wish we had more Mario Party maps. How are you not giving us more Mario Party maps?
Yeah.
And I am I will say I am just worried about what the camera is going to pump out, because everything they show with the camera like runs at like 2 frames per second.
None of it
every
looks
single time.
Yeah, none of it looks that good. It is interesting that like they've got automatic background removal going on,
Yeah.
which if they have, I'm assuming they're probably working with an NVIDIA chip, right? Like, I know NVIDIA has a lot of like technology that uses their RTX to do a really good job at all that. So maybe that's how they're able to do it so cleanly.
Does their camera have face tracking? Because like, how are they all just so on everyone's face?
Yeah, probably. It probably does.
I don't know. But they definitely showed new mini games, which I thought was cool, and I hope those new mini games get added into. Like, they showed like normal mini games, and it'd be really, really nice if those mini games just get added.
I bet there's going to be like the same way that we can select to have all mini games or no motion games. We're going to be able to like be like all mini games, or like set it to be like mouse mini games. Yes, no, right? Like, yeah.
And in the mouse mini games, though, again, all of them could have been done with motion controls.
Yeah.
All of them could have absolutely been like this. Like, don't they have one of these climbing games? Like, don't they do that in ARMS?
They do. We have a climbing. I've definitely played a climbing mini game like that one that's in that trailer.
Yeah, I feel like all of these don't need the mouse, but whatever. Thanks, Dick Too Small, for that tier 1 sub.
That's great.
Anyway, so yeah, that's cool. But I think like just the idea of like some of our favorite games getting new content on the Switch 2 is good.
Yeah.
That's really, really good.
They're doing a good job, you know, taking, I think, the iconic like, yo, you want to come over and play Switch games, and making sure that like from the start that you have something to show your friends on your Switch when they come over. You got your Mario Party is updated with new Switch 2 features. You've got the Mario Kart. You've got access to Smash Bros, I'm sure. So like all the staples, right, are going to be there right from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Tyler, thanks for giving out a sub to Dick Too Small. Appreciate that.
Going on to I don't know what the wheelchair game was even called. I couldn't read the logo. Dragon Drive. Yeah. Dragon Drive.
Let's recap that one.
Yeah, that one. Okay,
I thought it was going to be like a DJ game at first, when it was like they were scratching up and down with the Joy-Cons. Right? And I was like, oh, okay. And it was kind of making like a...
I said Parappa the Rapper at first. I was like, did they buy Parappa the Rapper?
That would be hilarious.
But yeah, I thought it was going to be a DJ rhythm game at first. And then they come out with Wheelchair Rocket League.
Yeah.
Which I think this is going to be a fun, like, hour play. I don't think this is going to be something that you're going to play a bunch. Because it does look like it plays, significantly slower than something like Rocket League. But it looks like a fun way to use 2 mice.
It is. They definitely, they did find a very unique way to give you use for 2 mice. And, being able to, like, lift the mouse from the table to then, like, use motion controls to throw the ball. Like, that makes sense. It's a pretty decent like idea for how to tech demo the mice. You use both of them, and you also utilize the fact that you can go from mouse to Joy-Con in like a fraction of a second. Like, it does have, I think the goal of this is definitely to show off that you can to just be a tech demo for the mice.
Yeah, I think the problem with any of these games that are going to really rely on the Switch mouse is that even if you look at some of these, like when you go back to the people playing together portion of there, only one of the people have a table in front of them.
Yes, I totally,
okay? And that guy's using a Pro Controller, for the record. So you're talking about this situation where a lot of times people want to play docked. A lot of times people are going to play on their couch where they don't have a table or somewhere where they can really use a mouse. I think it does limit your player base a tad.
Yeah, like from the beginning, the idea of the controller being a mouse has something that to me has kind of been like, that's cool, but how much use is that really going to get?
Mhm.
A lot of people are playing, I think the majority of people are probably playing on a TV, sitting on a couch or in a comfortable chair, not. And if there is a table in front of you, it's a coffee table, and
Dude,
you'd
you
have to
wanna
like
bend
hunch
over?
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the majority or even a large minority of the players are like sitting at a desk playing their Nintendo Switch. I don't think it's a very large group of people.
Yeah.
The mouse will be nice for Mario Maker 3. I think that's going to be like the best time to have a mouse.
That's the Mario Maker 3 or a Mario Paint type sequel feels like absolutely the spot where you want to be with the mouse. And things like that, just like menuing in general is where I think the mouse is going to shine.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they need an official Nintendo mouse pad. Yeah, someone just said that. They need
True.
an official Nintendo mouse pad.
They'll have like a table that like goes on your lap, official Nintendo lap table, so you could like sit on your couch with a TV dinner table in front of you.
Elden Ring being out, that's a decently big deal. Did they say that's going to be on launch?
I don't remember if they said on launch or not, but yeah, let's jump in. Let's talk about the third-party stuff, because they didn't say launch, but it does say 2025. We're getting huge support for third-party Nintendo. I feel like it kind of, if you look back at the Wii U, like they tried so hard to get that third-party support, right? Like Wii U launched with the Batman Arkham games, Assassin's Creed, whatever one had you, I think in America. Like a bunch of stuff they really pushed, and because the Wii U was such a flop, so many third-party developers were like, we're just kind of like done. And then the Switch was so weak, they're like, we can't really do much with this. This big chunk of the Nintendo Switch 2 kind of direct here showed us that like they've got the support from the third party. Street Fighter 6 is coming. Elden Ring is coming. Borderlands, the new Borderlands is coming, right? Like EA basically was like, we will put all of our Madden on this. We promise.
Yeah, that's actually really huge. People may not understand how big having Madden and FIFA, like we're EAFC now, on the console, coming back to the console. This is the first time since I mean, the Wii, where they had Madden, and potentially the first time since the GameCube where they had a capable Madden game, a Madden that was the same version that the PlayStation and Xbox versions were getting. Because like even the Wii Maddens were like a step down, like old version. That's actually for a strong segment of games. There's a lot of gamers that are like, if I can't play Madden or I can't play EAFC or I can't play COD, for example, I can't play those 3 games. It's not even a question whether they would buy it. They would just never buy it at all.
Yeah.
So if they can have, and I'm not assuming it's going to be like same graphically as.
No, it's not going to look as good as a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, whatever their names are.
But if you have it with Ultimate Team and all the features and online play, and you can get a pretty good community going on those consoles, that's going to be a huge boon for Nintendo. And also, like, I'm sure EA is going to, wants to be back on that Nintendo atmosphere after how good the Switch did. So
yeah, exactly.
I think it's actually really, really big to get the EA Sports games specifically back. But then, yeah, I mean, and I think the other thing with Street Fighter 6 that I'm really hopeful for is Street Fighter 6 is a huge online game. And I hope this means that Nintendo at least figured out enough to do Street Fighter 6 pretty well.
That again, yeah, like with the Nintendo chat button and their screen sharing and everything, it's like giving me a little bit of hope for the quality of their online like connectivity and performance and everything. That's the biggest thing that I'm pulling out of out of the showcases that we got, is that like they seem confident in their online, which a grain of salt, but I would be thrilled.
Yeah. I think maybe the biggest announcement that Nintendo gave no acknowledgement of at all is the fact that they were like, oh, Silksong's going to be out on the Switch 2 in 2025.
Yeah, they gave it about 3 seconds of screen time, and It was the softest little tease for what has become the biggest deal to like the more intense online gaming community. Like the casuals not going to care quite as much about that, but that's huge news. That's
That
like
is
2-minute trailer worthy news right there.
Is it Switch release first? I thought it was coming out on Xbox first, is what I heard. But like, who knows? It's been so long. Contracts run. Who knows?
I have no idea what the rules are as far as Hollow Knight's development. I don't know if Microsoft did they acquire Team Cherry? I have no idea. I haven't kept up with that at all.
I thought like they announced like 2 years ago that it was coming to Xbox Live games first. Day one Game Pass? I don't know.
I mean, it could be both things. I don't know if Team Cherry was acquired by Microsoft or not, but if it were to come to both, there's no problem with that, right? Like that's totally fine.
Curiosity
not exclusive, but not acquired. Yeah, okay.
We would love to bring Curiosity to the Switch 2. I tell you what, if we sell enough copies to buy a Switch 2 dev kit, doing it. We'll do it. Absolutely. No doubt. I would love that. Yeah, a lot of third parties though. IO, I like how they said, "Oh, we're bringing 007 something to."
Yeah. I don't know what at all that means. Because it was connected to the Hitman stuff, so they're probably going to release like some Hitman World of Assassination content that is based off of the world and like stories of 007.
Honestly, 007 with Hitman gameplay would slap pretty hard.
Honestly, so true. Like, Hitman World of Assassination is an amazing game. The fact that they teased that as part of what's coming to the Switch 2, huge. I love it. I respect it. I think it's awesome. I'm all in for that. Like, I played a little bit of it. I think it's so good, and I think the Switch being able to run it and have it, because it's one of those games that, like, is consistently getting support and update and content, and like even if you've played everything that's in it, you can play more. Like there's always more to do, more ways to play. It's awesome. The support that they showed from just everything here is so good. Like the Final Fantasy remake coming, Split Fiction being a launch day title is so big because the power couple of the millennial generation, the alt by GF and the gamer boyfriend. That gamer boyfriend is getting his alt bisexual girlfriend to play Split Fiction with him on launch day on the Nintendo Switch, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, as someone in one of those relationships, maybe minus the alt part. It is Split Fiction is a huge game, and also. One copy of the game, two consoles.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is actually really clutch.
Yeah.
That's really called out. I know. It was so embarrassing when I realized how much of that stereotype we were hitting.
I feel like there's gonna be a lot of chat who resonates with that stereotype.
Yeah. But also I think one of the things that when they're showing off these third-party games, when I'm looking at Cyberpunk, Elden Ring might be the exception. Yakuza.
Yeah.
They all look really good. They don't look like a shitty version of the PlayStation one.
Yeah,
like
they
Street
don't
Fighter
look
6
like
doesn't look bad.
Amazing, but they don't look bad.
No, and I think that's huge because a lot of like with the Switch, when you got like that Switch copy, it looked like shit. Like
it
Fall
ran
Guys
like
on
shit.
Switch
It looked like shit. It loaded slow. No, the Switch copy of like it's a miracle that they even got those Doom games running on the Switch, dude. I couldn't believe that they pulled that off.
Balatro lag.
Yeah,
Runs great on my phone though. Runs great on my phone.
All right. The big AAA that they talked about in that like wave in the middle though is obviously Koei Tecmo and Nintendo teaming up for another basically Zelda side story in the Breath and Tears universe. We're getting Age of Imprisonment. How did you feel about that?
I'm not a Dynasty Warriors fan. I'm not a Hyrule Warriors fan. They're not like my type of combat. However, the thing that I really love and appreciate about the Hyrule Warriors specifically is they take these games and then they give us a hot bit of lore. inside of those games with a nice side quest. And I think this one's gonna be some of the most fun lore we can get because it's all like in the past Hyrule lore. They can really write whatever they want into that.
Yeah. They
so I
did
think
such
the
a
lore
good
is gonna be
job with
fun.
Age of Calamity doing that, and they did it in such a clean way where in Age of Calamity they like just enough in there to be like, this isn't technically going to be perfectly canon, so we can write a happy ending, but it was still like you play through it and you're like, yeah, these are the events of the Calamity and how they happened, minus this last like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, they could also do that with this one.
And I'm fully expecting
time
that.
us right. Yeah, they might just time loop us right over there. So
Yeah.
This is basically a Zelda flashback part of Tears of the Kingdom fleshed out into Hyrule Warriors. Yeah, essentially she's in the past, and then there was a war that happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna play through that war, right? You know, you're gonna play through the bad guy part,
and having that be, because in Age of Calamity, right? The whole concept there was that, like, you know, Link fights in this war 100 years ago and then gets put in the Shrine of Resurrection, wakes up. This time, like, again, just like in Echoes of Wisdom, Zelda is kind of going to be our guide and protagonist of this game. And of course, the Warriors games, you control all sorts of different characters. You don't have to play as any particular one. You could play as Zelda in the previous one, but having her as kind of like the first and like the primary is really cool for this, because I feel like she kind of kicks ass in Tears of the Kingdom. And you know, knowing how Tears of the Kingdom plays out, and especially what happens to her, I'm really excited to play this game. Like, I'm with you on Dynasty Warriors games not really being my cup of tea, but Age of Calamity did enough with the combat to, I think, make it like challenging and unique and fun enough that I didn't feel like I was just spamming punch 100 times to kill 1,000 enemies. Like, I actually felt like I was being challenged in an exciting and cool way. So, like, this has me incredibly excited. I think this is, like, I really hope they do a revamped version of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity so I can replay it with a higher frame rate leading into this.
Yeah, it looks like they got a bunch of different, they got a couple Zonai you can play as, then you got, you know, your group, you know, your Rito.
You'll have one of each of the different races of that world you can play as for sure.
Is the Zonai queen, is she just naked? Am I just staring at her boobies right now? Is that what's happening?
She just looks like that. She just looks like that.
Yeah. Can they take their masks off? Maybe. Who knows? Who cares? I'm imagining you're playing as all the people that, like, what do I want to say? Your ghosts. Your ghosts.
All those ghosts. Yeah. All the people from the from the stories. Yeah, like I forget all their names, honestly.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
They all had the same cutscene, which made them wildly forgettable. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Secret Stone Passers.
Yeah, exactly.
They're holding the Infinity Stones. You guys know. Sadly, you know what? Sadly, I don't. Even though Tears had way more story, I don't know if I cared about it as much as I cared about Breath of the Wild story. Now that I'm talking about it out loud,
I think in the moment I definitely was like all in, and then right now I'm like, I do kind of forget a little bit of how that shook out in some pieces. Like, the big plot points are pretty memorable, but yeah.
The story of Tears is so pretentious. I don't know what that means specifically, but I love it. In the moment, best game ever made. In the moment, it was. But yeah, looking back on it, maybe I didn't like it as much as I was in the moment. The one thing I'll say about Hyrule Warriors is that after looking at the upgraded versions of Tears and Breath of the Wild, though, it's not aesthetically as
not
pleasing.
Visually doing it for you.
No.
Yeah.
This is the only one that they showed off where I'm like, oh, this still looks like a Switch game to me.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm a little disappointed in that. And I know Hyrule Warriors they put 900 people on screen and everything, but yeah, I don't know. That's my complaint. I'm going to nitpick right there. It looks kinda graphically not as sharp as, especially after seeing Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
I know the frame rate in Age of Calamity got atrocious when you were in those like meaty moments with a lot of enemies. So I'm just hoping the Switch 2 is powerful enough that like it's at least a little more stable, a little more playable. Like it definitely takes you out of it when you're trying to like unleash your cool combos on like 700 bokoblins around, and it's chugging along at about 12 frames a second.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the GameCube coming to Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah.
The whole time when they're showing it off, I kept screaming, "Show Smash Brothers, you pussies, you won't."
That would be massive.
And they didn't.
That would be massive. That would also be... I don't know if... I would be a little worried about them showing Smash Brothers. Not for, like, them or anything, but, like, there is a very deep Smash Brothers Melee community still, and they've got their online net, like, gameplay with rollback netcode and basically, like, super customized emulator that they use to play Smash Bros. Like, it has matchmaking. It has everything. Like... They've got it figured out. The Smash Bros. Experience for Smash Melee will not ever be as good on a Nintendo console as it is with however the Smash community has currently set it up. And that's just like facts to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the fact that I think that's why they specifically didn't show Smash in any of those. Like they showed a lot of GameCube games and they did not show a cover art of Smash.
Yeah,
and I agree. I think that's the problem. Like there's just so much third-party stuff for Melee that there's no way that they could get anyone that cares about Smash Brothers Melee to be playing it on Nintendo Switch Online. So they might just be better off not doing it.
Yeah, and there's also the possibility that they're saving it, right? Like, you know, they could want to have around holiday time or maybe leading into whatever new Smash Bros. They end up announcing for the Switch 2, maybe they're going to get to a point where they're like, oh, also Smash Bros. Melee playable today, right? Like, that could just be one they're keeping in their back pocket for a future day.
Yeah, and I agree. That would probably be the time to announce it when you announce the new Smash.
Yeah.
However, we'll talk about that here in a little bit, I'm sure. Whenever the new Smash is coming, it might be a long time, or it might be without Sakurai. So,
that would be interesting. We'll see. He's
one of the two.
He's definitely got his focus. His focus is already delivered to a particular title right now. So
yeah, and that's actually something else that I thought was a little interesting. We haven't seen anything for Smash Brothers as far as the Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade. No $10 bonus, nothing yet. So I'm just very curious of what they're doing with Smash, because Smash is like one of their top sellers. That you obviously they're going to want to put a Smash Brothers on the system. So I'm curious if they are going to just upgrade Ultimate at some point, or they're going to give us a brand new Smash. But I would have liked to seen an Ultimate upgrade right day one. Like very, very would have liked to see that.
Something,
I'm very shocked we didn't.
Getting a Switch 2 like upgrade pack for Smash Bros. Would have. It is weird for it to be ignored. Same with Animal Crossing, honestly. For those to both, like, in this direct, to kind of both not get any time in the spotlight, because they don't have to do much, right? They don't have to, like, give us new content necessarily, but to at least put them in the focus and say, we are adding, you know, some sort of Switch 2 support for this particular title would have been, I think, a pretty good move. Yeah,
I mean, they're just, you know, these are games that have sold 30 million plus copies of the system. So, good GameCube launch title, though. They had Sunshine on there. Fire Emblem, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, we got Path of Radiance. Love that Fire Emblem.
Pokemon XD, Mario, Smash Football, which I'm super into. Luigi's Mansion, Chibi Robo, which I thought was hot. And then they show Pokemon Coliseum at the end.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to work with Pokemon Home. Like, what's going to happen with that? Is it going to work with XD, which is on there? So, I'm curious how Coliseum's going to work specifically.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to import things? So
I was kind of surprised, honestly, to see that they're doing the GameCube and their online stuff now, because like they've done a lot of GameCube game re-releases in the past like decade, right? We've gotten the Wind Waker, the Twilight Princess. We've gotten the Mario's 3D All Stars, which had Mario Sunshine in it. We've gotten haven't we gotten a Luigi's Mansion remake or remaster of some sort? I feel like. We've gotten
probably,
yeah, like Metroid Prime remaster.
There's another Luigi Mansion remaster coming out too.
Of course, so. Yeah. There's just so many different ways that we've been sold the same GameCube games over and over and over again. I'm just like surprised that they're giving us access to them as part of this subscription instead of keeping them in the vault and then just drip feeding them to us little by little with like, you know, slapped on upgrades for an additional $60-$80. Not to say that like Wind Waker HD wasn't worth it. I think that was a totally good remake, re-release, whatever, but I'm surprised they're giving us Wind Waker on the Switch in GameCube mode. I'm surprised they didn't just do Wind Waker HD and charge us another $50.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is the fact that they showed the GameCube controller specifically though makes me feel like Smash is going to come at some point.
Well, yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, I just feel like, because it's got the C button.
It absolutely
like
will.
Do they really need to circle the C button in that? GameCube controller available Switch 2 launch day. They're really trying to get you to get
It'll
everything
be sold
here.
out in 3 seconds. You won't be able to get it. That's okay.
Man.
I feel like out of any of their retro controller collection they've done, the GameCube is the one that like a lot of people still have along with their adapters to plug into the Switch directly. So that one I'm like kind of fine if I don't.
Yeah, I don't think I'm getting a GameCube controller. Yeah. So they showed Deltarune, cool.
They showed Deltarune, but like. That was really cool. I want to talk about it for just a second because the two new chapters. Yeah, like
2 new chapters.
I think that's so cool. You know, like the just kind of the story and following the saga of Undertale, Deltarune, and Toby Fox. How, you know, he makes this indie game that becomes this cherished, beloved game, just for everyone, and manages to build a relationship with Nintendo to the point where he's designing and composing the music that's like in some of the most iconic moments in recent Pokemon games, to a point where now he's like a selling point of the new console trailers. Like they gave him more time. They gave Deltarune more time than they gave to Silk Song, which is saying something, right? Like that's crazy. For Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 to be getting their announcement during the Switch 2 launch direct is just so cool. And to be a launch title.
Launch title, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they went hard.
You know what? I haven't played Deltarune yet, and I think this is going to be a wonderful time to do it.
I think there's going to be 7 chapters total, so I've played 1 and 2 so far. They're great. You'll love them, but I think once all 7 are out, I'm going to like marathon them because
you can't play Deltarune. It's a demo. Chat's giving us attitude about this.
You can play. Yeah, you can play Deltarune. It's like there's like 20 hours of content of Deltarune. There's a lot of content in chapters 1 and 2.
Yeah. The 2K game, when 2K came on, I was oh shit, are they gonna announce GTA 6 is coming to Switch 2? They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't.
They didn't do that one, no.
They didn't. That could have actually been really clutch if they were like, oh, by the way, GTA 6 is also coming to Switch 2. That would have been huge. But no, they just said NBA 2K is coming, so.
Yeah, that additional wave of like more third-party support between Borderlands, NBA, WWE 2K. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I would probably be more likely to play WWE 2K, like the story mode on the go, than I would at home right now.
Something that's more like, all right, I'm on a plane. Let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a story mode. It's fine. It's good. You know, like, it's interesting. It's worth playing through, I guess. So, Enter the Gungeon 2. This is actually one. You know, it's funny. This froze for me during the trailer, in the U.S. version, so I didn't get to see this one.
I was already on the UK feed by this one, so I did see it. But it looks nice. Like, it's kind of that weird thing where a lot of indie games that have that like really nice pixel art style for their sequels, they try to move away from it. But I think that this does it really well.
You okay? Hang out up here. Oh, he's good. Okay, he knows what to do. All right. Yeah. Oh, my jacket and the pants. Oh, cute. Oh. My son is gonna hang out downstairs alone till his neighbors come to pick him up. Right now to go to school, so it's a big deal. We're having a full moment.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yo, Swift, thank you very much.
Going back to Gungeon, it doesn't make sense to me to do this.
What do you mean?
Elaborate. You have pretty pixel art, and it looks good, and then I think when they go into this, like, I don't know, like Pixar type of animation, I feel like it just looks generic.
You know what? I can see where you're coming from, but I think that there's a soft spot for the pixel art from the 30-plus-year-olds of us who grew up with pixel art. And I think they're going to appeal a lot more to newer generations and the art styles that they like with this. And I think, like, again, I think it looks so good. Like, it's out of any of the games that I've seen do this with their sequels, like recently Moonlighters 2, Wizard of Legend 2, and now Enter the Gungeon 2. These are all games that had amazing pixel art in their first move over to a non-pixel art, like a 3D model type gameplay. This one looks probably the cleanest of any that have done it so far that I've seen. And I love it. It looks ambitious. It looks cool. And it just looks crisp and good.
Yeah, it's it doesn't look bad. It doesn't, like, I'm not insinuating it looks bad. It looks very beautiful. The bullet casings all over the ground are fucking gold. Like, that shit's fucking gold. But I don't know what it is. It just looks more soulless to me.
You think so?
Maybe, and I might be alone, and it might be because I'm old.
I can't say that I'm on the same page on that one. I think it looks really, really clean. I like it a lot. I like the visuals. I think that they've taken it and done it really well.
Chat, vote. New or old? New Gungeon or old Gungeon, purely graphic wise. We're getting a bit of a mix. A lot of old, actually.
A lot of old, but like, how old are our chats? Are also skew old.
Maybe
our
yours.
Chats also skew in the 30 plus, in the 30 plus range.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We're all 23 in here. This camera angle looks pretty awkward. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just something hits me. Also, I don't know where he's actually getting shot at any of these points. It looks like he's supposed to take damage like 4 times, and he doesn't.
Well, once we got more than the 6 seconds of gameplay that we have in that trailer, I'm sure we'll be able to judge a little bit more. I'm optimistic, though. That's definitely how I would say I feel about this. I'm optimistic.
Okay.
We've got the various, we've got Astroneer's expedition thing going on, the Star Seeker. That looked cool. And they had the 4 kids stranded, a little survival. They added some nice looking like survival type games for kids in like sandwiching around the Enter the Gungeon trailer, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. Cyberpunk, I thought I think the big thing for me with Cyberpunk is it doesn't look like it's like this shitty downgraded version. It looks like a fine version. If this is it actually running on the Switch,
Yeah,
too,
it does look like it's
good.
running a downgraded version, right? Like it doesn't look like
it's not my 49.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it
Not my
looks like
4090.
but it's running. What we're seeing, it's running smoothly, which is important. And like as far as it goes, it doesn't look the best in the world, but it is serviceable.
Yes, it is. It is serviceable.
Yeah. And Cyberpunk
which
is a real good looking game when you're running it at top settings.
Yeah. Final Fantasy VII coming back to Nintendo. I think Nintendo fans are always happy for that.
Yeah.
It seems like a good marriage. Weeb games do good there, and this is the biggest Weeb game of them all. So that's good. Let's see.
Oh, we're getting to the 7 seconds of Silk Song in the trailer here.
The 7 seconds of Silk Song in the trailer. Hold on 1 second. I got to see if my kid's still here.
Yeah, no worries.
I think they just got picked up.
No worries.
1 second. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, this 7 seconds of Silk Song in this trailer, honestly, it's not. We're not seeing much. We're not seeing much, but like, I feel like what we are seeing is hope. I feel like we're seeing hope and potential joy and wonder. I'm interested in what this Goodnight Universe game is. It kind of reminds me of Before Your Eyes. Whatever's going on. Skybound Games. Who is Skybound Games? Skybound Games. Oh, they did do Before Your Eyes. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, that checks out. Okay, great. I'm ready to have my entire heart broken all over again with Goodnight Universe, whatever they're doing with this one. It looks exactly the same.
My neighbor sent her 7-year-old to come pick up my 6-year-old, and they're all.
It's okay to cry.
With an 8-year-old. This is fine. This is fine.
That's really funny.
This is fine. My wife set it up. It's fine.
It's okay to cry.
You know what's funny? If this is the 90s, none of that would be crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't seem the most unreasonable to me.
It's one block. It's one block.
I know. I've walked it with you.
You've walked it with me. Yeah, I know. I think it's going to be fine.
That's funny.
The opening to Jay and Silent Bob. I know. Well, if he comes home with a wad of crack, I'll know why. So. Just slap that GPS tracker on him? No, I'm not giving him a phone or anything.
Just put an AirTag in his backpack.
Yeah. All right. One thing I do want to talk about.
Okay.
Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah.
I don't think now I don't know enough about Hollow Knight and its trailers. I'm sure the Silk Song Reddit is going crazy right now. But can someone tell me, is this new footage we're seeing? Is this new footage of Silk Song we're seeing?
That's a good question. It is literally like 7 seconds. Not even. It's like 3 seconds.
It is so short of time. It is new footage. Okay, the Reddit imploded. This is all new footage on here.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about it makes me. Nothing about it looks any different than Hollow Knight.
It's literally 2 jumps and one like special move. Yeah. It's 2 jumps and 1 special move. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm excited for Silk Song to come out. I loved Hollow Knight.
Right.
I'm worried about it. I feel like it's been built up for so long and so much that whatever it's going to be, people are going to be let down by the end because it's just turned into this thing that everybody's like talking about and waiting for.
I just don't know how you improve upon like the Metroidvania formula so much where not that it doesn't justify a sequel, but that it justifies the like ridiculous rabid rabid hype for this sequel.
Yeah. Like,
You know?
Metroidvanias have not slowed down in being awesome since Hollow Knight, right? Like, we've had a new Ori game since Hollow Knight. We've had, God, I couldn't even list how many good Metroidvanias we've had since Hollow Knight. So, Hollow Knight Silksong, I feel like is gonna come out, and it's gonna be like, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna love it. It's gonna not match this like unmeetable expectation that the hype has left for it, for sure.
I think that's a big of the problem. Like Hollow Knight itself is like a 9.5 game, right? Like it is a very great video game. One of my all-time favorite video games. It's so good. It's so fun. It's so playable. It's such a good game at wandering. Like you can wander in the same spot 3 times, then you finally find the way. Like magically. It's just like a very, very perfect Metroidvania game. And what's also really fun about it is like the way I played it is probably different than the order you played it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not many, and I'm not sure what Hollow Knight or what Silksong can even do to improve upon that formula in any way. I just don't know. I don't know what we could get to improve upon the formula.
Yeah.
Other than just giving us more of what we had in Hollow Knight, just more of it. And I don't know if that's going to justify people's rabidness. You know what I mean? I'm worried that a lot of people are going to play through Silksong, finish it a week later, and be like, huh. You know, even though it's great, it's incredible, it's just as good as any of them. But I don't know. I just don't think it's going to live up to any. I just don't think it's possible to live up to that hype.
Yeah. But I do think when it does come out, I'm going to have a good time with it.
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to live up to my hype. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to live up to the general hype.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see where it goes. I feel like for everything that Silksong is setting itself up to be with these last like 10 years of anticipation, for it to get a date in this trailer, if that date ends up being real and adhered to, then I am excited for the year of 2025 for gaming.
2025 is fitting to be like a really insane year of gaming.
I know, yeah.
General.
Especially if we're getting GTA 6 this year. Like,
if we get GTA 6 this year, that's so wild. Curiosity, GTA 6, Silksong. I mean, just massive games, massively anticipated games.
Yeah, absolutely. One game that was shown in this like little like barrage of games, Fast Fusion, which it's got like that F-Zero vibe to it. I just like this game. I like their Fast RMX that was also a Switch launch title. It was like one of the only games you could buy on launch for a Switch, so I did buy it. And it's nice to see the devs still kicking and making games. I was happy about that.
One thing I will say, I did think all of the third-party games didn't look as good as like first-party games.
Well, yeah,
and I think that's such a common thing. It's such a common thing, and I wish Nintendo would specify the help that these third-party game makers need to. Fast Fusion actually looks really great, though. I will say.
Yeah, Fast Fusion looks so like visually
Fast
stunning.
Fusion does look pretty. Yeah, Fast Fusion does look pretty. But I wish Nintendo would help out some of these third parties a little bit more.
Oh man, we've been getting the drip feed of Professor Layton over for the last while, but getting it in this, getting it in here was awesome, dude. Oh, I'm excited about it.
Fortnite's coming, of course. I mean, I didn't think that was never a doubt for anybody that Fortnite was going to be out there. Professor Layton, Tamagotchi, Human Fun. Nobody cares about a lot of these games. I mean, people care about them, but not enough for this.
Yeah.
Now the Miyazaki game. Okay, first of all, they showed this part right here, the beginning.
The dude.
The beginning.
He's lounging in his chair.
And what's funny is someone said, "Is this from Software?" And I said, "There's no fucking way it's from Software." I thought it was like Castlevania for a little bit. I thought it might be Castlevania, like this is a Richter or Belmont or something.
Castlevania was said in my chat very early on too, and I was also like, yeah, maybe that could be what we're seeing here. We could be getting into a Castlevania type situation here.
Yeah. It's PvP versus PvE is going to be multiplayer focused. That's the same way they describe Elden Ring or Dark Souls 3. So I'm not necessarily sure it's going to be multiplayer focused, like Night Rain. Because I think what you're saying, Launchpad McQuack, is that you think it's going to be kind of more Night Rain style. I'm not getting that. They announced it's an 8-player PvP PvE game.
Do we have more information somewhere about it?
Where is this? This actually makes me disappointed. Yeah. Definitely had the look of a Souls-like. Once they started
found
showing
something. No, this is not useful information.
Well, I think what's big about this though, chat, is that and then they don't show it till the end of the trailer. This isn't just a From Software game. Like, Armored Core is a From Software game, right? It is a Miyazaki game. Miyazaki is making this game. From software.jp, Google Translate to English. Software for Nintendo Switch is PvP vs. E, base multiplayer action game which up to 8 players can fight each other and fight against enemies. I don't know. Are we still? I'm still feeling like this might be more like. I don't know if this is Night Rain or this is more just like you can have 8 invaders in your game.
I guess we'll just have to speculate for now.
Yeah.
I think we do see what to me looks like some good mobility in a lot of these characters. And we do even see someone summon another person. So they might be as far as Elden Ring goes, there might be a higher focus on cooperative or even competitive, multiplayer gameplay inside of this game than in other Souls or Elden Ring type games, but maybe not quite to the same level of the new specifically multiplayer Elden Ring.
Yeah, I definitely I mean, just the trailer doesn't play anything like the Night Rain trailer did.
We are seeing a lot of very different characters in combats as well though, right? We see the first dude with his vampire vibes and his little guns and stuff, but then we're also seeing a moon witch lady and a ring wielding lady and a guy with 2 swords and all sorts of different characters that appear to be controllable or playable, right? And whether those are personal avatars or characters that you create that are just geared out, or if they're characters you select, is kind of unknown. But
yeah, the vibe of it, we'll get back to gameplay. The vibe of it is absolutely Bloodborne. This to me looks like they, for whatever reason, Sony could not get Bloodborne 2 made, and Miyazaki took these ideas and was like, cool, I'll do it over here.
It looks really cool.
Yeah.
This is such a power move, man, from Nintendo to get
huge.
this exclusively on the Nintendo Switch too, because they if there's a thing that Nintendo doesn't struggle with, it's having good exclusives, right? Nintendo is the exclusive king because they have the IPs of 30 years of insanely good and iconic game franchises. But to take something that is so non-Nintendo and make it an exclusive on their platform is what a power play, man.
Do you know what this reminds me of, actually? And I don't know if you remember this, when the GameCube announced that they were going to be the exclusive Resident Evil place. Way back when.
That, you know what? That I didn't know that was a thing, actually. I never really thought about it. Because Resident Evil 4 did release on the GameCube when really the PlayStation 2 would have been the place for it.
Yeah, it was. For a while, GameCube had Resident Evil 0 and 4 both launched on GameCube first. And it was like they had an exclusive deal with it for like 5 years, which was crazy. But yeah, just having a From Software. I mean, Bloodborne was huge for the PlayStation. Like Bloodborne is a huge franchise for PlayStation. It
It's
was a huge
very
game
well
for
loved.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Very well loved. Sold well. It was a reason to own a PS3. You know. So I have to feel like this is going to hit a large group of gamers that weren't planning on buying a Switch 2 is now going to think like, well, I can't miss the next Miyazaki game.
Yeah.
Right? I need to have the next Miyazaki game.
Right. And like they get the added bonus of having access to every other Nintendo exclusive. So like whatever friction there might be from stopping like maybe a more adult or serious gamer from buying the Switch 2, I feel like this is probably the game that's going to sway them to be like, all right, well, when this game comes out, it'll be worth thinking about picking up my Switch 2.
Yeah.
And then they can get their Mario Kart along with it.
Yeah. This one was such a general shock to me. It was a shock to me and a very big stamp. You know what I mean? I know they have a 3D Mario. They didn't show it today. And I think they were probably comfortable not showing it because they had something this big. I think this was so huge and clutch for them. And it's hitting a different type of... The gamer that isn't you or me. Yeah. This is hitting, Ain Runs, little Aggies of the world. That type of group. That little crew that we hung out with at Kaizo Coliseum that doesn't play any Nintendo at all. The Lobos of the world. Now, all of a sudden, they have to buy a Nintendo console. They're going to buy Mario Kart. They're going to buy Mario. They have it, right? So they're going to buy these games now. So I think it was actually just a huge, huge exclusive. And mine is getting GTA 6, probably the biggest thing Nintendo could do for their new console.
Yeah. Honestly, like, we still have a little bit more to cover, but the entirety of this announcement trailer has gotta be, as far as a console announcement and a launch lineup, the strongest maybe ever, right? Like,
it's pretty good.
The PlayStation 5 had shit all for launch, right? Like the Xbox, who even knows what they do anymore? As far as exclusives go, everything's playable. Business? Yeah, everything's playable on PC, and their whole new thing is everything is Xbox. Whatever. I can't think of another console that had a launch this like kind of jammed with so much, like just so much for so many people.
One of the characters is literally the make contact gesture from Bloodborne. I mean, but that, to be fair, From Software does that. They just use the same shit over and over again. Like there's Dark Souls enemies. The lobsters are in Dark Souls and Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I mean, now, is that because everything in From Software world is all one cohesive world? Maybe. Or just because they're lazy? Also maybe. Whatever, you know what I mean?
They probably just have it's just like a thing they like a calling card almost, maybe.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say is it definitely doesn't look like as pretty as like current Elden Ring does.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But I just don't think that matters at all. I mean, it does look beautiful. It looks like everything you want and expect from a From Software game. And right there, we just saw chat. It looked like they summoned the person.
Yeah.
Not really. Yeah.
It did in that one part of the trailer. It did look like it summoned them.
Yeah, I just don't. We don't get any like gameplay, right? So it's hard to say exactly how it's going to play out. But I will say, I bet there's going to be cool environments with lots of hidden weird secrets. Is that you turning into a dinosaur, or is that the dinosaur?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Is that you? But I will think it's safe to say it's going to have cool environments with some secrets and really big boss fights. I think that's you turning into a dinosaur.
That's badass. Yeah. That's real badass.
We're getting more info in 2 days directly from Miyazaki.
Beautiful. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, nothing in this trailer makes me feel like it's... And I know you're saying, guys, like, I know we're reading like it's like this big multiplayer game, but the way I'm looking at this is that it might be like your normal game, but with like invaders and what are the other ones? What do you call the invaders when they're on your team? But they're just like it's like more seamless and more anywhere possibility for that. But I'm not sure it's. Have they showed a single non-humanoid though? Yeah, they do. They show
a frog.
Yeah, they show a frog. They're right here. They show this guy. He's non-human. I will say that. I was thinking of that. I was like, wow, these are a lot of human monsters, but like there's a very Bloodborne-esque dog boss thing.
That guy definitely did morph into that dinosaur. You're right.
Yeah, he morphs into the dinosaur. Like that's clearly a boss. The frog boss is clearly a boss.
If there's whatever it is, whatever we end up getting out of this, it's big.
It's big. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. It's a really, really big deal for Nintendo, no matter what. And I mean, if it is like a super online game, then maybe Nintendo's on just doesn't suck, Chad.
Oh God, yeah. What a bold move to release a very online dependent game on a Nintendo console.
The Dusk Bloodborns. Yeah, I mean that's really what it feels like, doesn't it? The Dusk's Bloodborns. Yeah, there's a non-humanoid right at the end of the two. There's Rat King.
Rat King.
Rat King. Yeah. Available only on Nintendo Switch next year.
So crazy.
Yeah.
I can't get over it, dude. It's so crazy.
This one's insane. This one's really, really insane. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. Just having a Miyazaki game is really, it's a really big deal.
Yeah. No, I think we'll get more information, but as far as everything that covers right now, yeah, we're kind of in there.
Yeah, I mean, like that game instantly shot to like my biggest boner for any game right now. I'm more excited for that than Night Rain, like right off the bat.
Wow.
And I don't know anything about it. So
that's big.
Yes, that shot to my like biggest boner for games. Now in 2 days I might be sad again, but right now, huge boner.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely huge boner. Our partners working on mini games coming to Nintendo Switch 2. Okay, let's talk about Kirby's Air Ride. Did you play the original Kirby's Air Ride?
Minimally. It's like one of those games I wanted really bad as a kid, and I didn't get it. So I don't have the nostalgia that others do for Air Ride, but the people who do, they love it.
I've never played it. I've literally never played Kirby's Air Ride in my life. Kirby's Air Ride was sick. What's so great, isn't it? What's funny is when they first showed this, I was like, oh, they're like Diddy Kong Racing Kirby. And then I was like, oh, it's Air Ride. But I don't... Like, why do we need this, chat? Can you explain to me why we need this?
What I said when we were watching it was like, great, so we've got Mario Kart and Kirby Kart for the Switch. Like,
yeah.
it is kind of like we're getting... very, very much in like close to the launch, like two games that fill a very similar need, right?
Well, this game isn't coming out at launch. This will
be a little bit. It's nice to get that, like, this is what Sakurai is working on, especially with him being behind the original Kirby Air Ride. It's cool to see. Like, part of me wonders, like, are we getting this because it was his, like, he wanted to? Like, was it him who made the decision that I want to do this again? Or
100%.
Did Nintendo come to it? Yeah, because, like, I think if Nintendo could have it their way, he'd be working on another Smash game right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This is... Sakurai wanted to make this, and Nintendo, you can't say no to that, right? Like, he's earned that freedom to do that. This is his motivated game. He's probably had an idea for this since the first one came out. He's probably had an idea to how to make that. Because, I mean, that's how it is. You release one game and you're like, oh my God, I can make this game perfect with a sequel. The way the trailer started, you half expected it to be a Smash game.
Yeah.
I thought the way the trailer started, it was going to be the upgrade. We were going to see the upgrade for Smash.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, because like Kirby, because Sakurai is Kirby's dad and he's behind Smash, he gets a lot of like frontline coverage when it comes to Smash. So I thought that'd be a great way to do it.
Yeah. You'd rather have a Star Wars Episode 1 race or remake? Well, guess what? That already came out last year, dude. You didn't play it, did you?
I like that one of these guys is racing a fridge. I like that, Kirby's got his star and another guy's just riding a fridge.
Just riding a fridge.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's aerodynamic.
I'm excited. I'm excited because I missed out on Air Ride as a kid. So getting to, get in on this one when it's like new and, designed in a way that it is a game that is released in 2025, right? Because anytime you go back and play a game that somebody loved from their childhood, but you didn't play it, there's a chance you go in and you're like, I'm sorry, without the nostalgia, this just isn't hitting the way that you want it to hit for me.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be something awesome, I think. This is gonna be fun.
The only thing that has me excited about it is that it's being directed by Sakurai. You know what I mean? So it's probably going to be extremely balanced. It's probably
going to be well made. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a well-made game. I have no love for the Kirby IP. Like, it just doesn't hit for me at all. I don't care about it or any of the characters. So that doesn't really that doesn't sell it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I don't know, in a world where we have Mario Kart, it's hard. I don't know. I am happy for everyone that's happy. Me personally, chat, not slapping for it.
That's fair. It's fair. They're going to hate you for it, but it's fair.
You know what? Some of the greatest people in the world were hated for their correct takes, all right? Martin Luther King Jr. died with a 12% approval rating, okay?
And he hated Kirby more than anyone.
He also hated Kirby. Yeah.
Oh
I'm not saying
God.
that I'm the Martin Luther King Jr. Nintendo hot takes.
You're getting a little close to saying it. Let's move on to the next one.
I don't even know what you do in Kirby Air Riders. I don't know.
You ride on the star. It's cool. It's cool.
Do you think that the general world was happy when they saw his name or sad when they saw his name because that means Smash is either not being made by him or really, really far out?
I think excited. I think they're excited. I think people really love those Air Ride games, man. I think it's
I'm seeing, dude, I don't know if I've ever gotten hate like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and especially like the game is coming out this year. Like it does say 2025. So it means that he did it. It's basically done by this point, right? Like they've got to be close to finishing with how long a game takes to make, right? So that also means that whatever his next project is, he'll be moving on to it shortly.
I still don't think he's going to make Smash again, Chad. I don't think he's going to do it. I know they want him to make Smash. I mean, it might have been the deal. They might have been like, all right, you make your little air ride.
Yeah.
And then you give us a Smash.
Yeah, maybe. Honestly, if for Smash, they did like a Switch 2 upgrade and then 10 more characters or something, I think that would be fine.
10 more characters? Are there even 10 more people
like they could do
games?
reworks, right? They're redesigning Donkey Kong. They could rebuild Donkey Kong. They could rebuild Link, rebuild Mario. Like
Stoner Donkey Kong.
Keep the game, keep the Kong. Smash Bros foundationally the same, and just change some characters around and like redo stuff.
Add the Duskbloods characters in. Actually, that would slap.
All right, we got to do Donkey Kong. We got to talk about this trailer.
Oh, of course we're talking about Donkey Kong.
For the first question that I have to ask you, how are we feeling about Donkey Kong's new design after this trailer?
You know what's funny is it didn't really affect me. It didn't bother me in this trailer, I guess. I didn't really think about it. I'm not too passionate about the design of Donkey Kong. In general, you know what I mean? Because Nintendo could always just be like, oh, this is a new Donkey Kong. It's Donkey Kong's nephew, grandson, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't bother me. What did bother me is that they didn't get Seth Rogen to voice it.
Oh,
Actually, like, why not just if you're gonna have movie Donkey Kong, just give me movie Seth Rogen.
Look, if Seth Rogen would have done a voice for Donkey Kong other than just doing his voice, maybe, but like I'm totally fine with Donkey Kong not sounding like Seth Rogen outside of the movie.
He did an interview once and he was like, yeah, and they approached me. I said, I'd love to do the voice of Donkey Kong if you're okay with Donkey Kong sounding exactly like Seth Rogen, you know? And it was like, yeah. My initial thought, right? It's no secret that I hate Donkey Kong 64. It's my least favorite game of all time. I literally think it's the worst video game that's ever been made. And that's not even a thing. I think that there's video games that are actually play worse. I think Donkey Kong 64 is the pinnacle of mediocrity to the point where you just don't care so hard. I just don't like it. I wasn't excited at first. My initial thought was just like, I wanted a Mario game.
Uh-huh.
And then he starts smashing up the ground
Mm-hmm.
and going underneath the levels. And then I'm thinking, okay, there's something here. There is this. What I'm imagining is that this started off as one of those like really fancy tech demos where they're like, look at a destructible environment here in our Nintendo engine, right? Look at all the things we could do with this in a Zelda game, in a Mario game, but it'll first fit in a Donkey Kong game, right? And it's kind of, to me, like this is the game that they're showing off, like the next step in that Nintendo engine. And that next step is completely destroyable environments where you can have underground tunnels and everything else. Because it does look like it's running on that same Mario Odyssey Tears of the Kingdom engine.
Yeah, they definitely use that same, like Nintendo's in-house engine they're using and retooling and for all their stuff, for sure. The thing like about everything in this trailer, like to me, like everything about it like just looks like Mario Odyssey, and I say that with nothing but joy. Like it looks like it controls so smoothly. Donkey Kong looks like he moves around so in like such a fun way. And yeah, like whereas in Mario Odyssey it was about like carefully carving your path by, you know, jumping around and you know, being precise on platforms and stuff. In this one, you're like going around and just smashing the hell out of the path. You're carving the path out of the world, which is so cool. I'm so excited about this. I think it looks like it's going to rival the quality of Mario Odyssey in terms of like how it feels as a 3D platformer, and it's so cool to see from a character who isn't Mario.
I kind of like the idea too, if you're gonna bring back Donkey Kong as like a 3D platform star in your, you know, in your group of games, having Donkey Kong go down while Mario goes up, right? Like
Makes
Donkey
sense,
Kong
yeah.
is platforming downwards mostly, you know what I mean? Destroying things, getting rid of the environment. That makes a lot of sense to me, while having Mario go up, and then you have enough differential. Because I think that's a lot of things I hate about Donkey Kong 64 is it's a worse version of Mario 64.
Sure, yeah, it's like the differentiation in like play style between them is not huge, whereas like here, yeah, Donkey Kong's got such a huge focus on his strength.
Yeah, I agree. The pants I don't like. The long pants is a little weird to me.
It's kind of growing on me, honestly. I don't hate it.
I don't know. It's a little weird. Do we get any shots as Diddy or Dixie? Do we get any other Kongs in here?
I don't think we saw Diddy or Dixie. We did see some monkeys, like enemy boss monkey kind of guys.
Yeah,
but
is that Diddy right there?
I did not see any of like our main like hero Kongs anywhere.
It looks like he's like Farmer Kong, like he's like been growing bananas somewhere, you know.
Humble Farmer Kong. He's been living out his days, having a good time. And he's got this like little purple stone buddy around him, kind of, you know, like almost like a Cappy.
Yeah, I'm wondering what that plays out as, because you do see he's on his back. Yeah, every single shot he's on his back.
Like
so
always with him, and that's what's giving him like some of the abilities to do some of the things he's doing with like punching through the ground or something. But maybe we're going to get another trailer closer to the release that details more about what this stone that's going around with him does.
Yeah, it's definitely his little Banjo-Kazooie vibes is what I was getting on. But yeah, I mean, I think if Mario Odyssey and Mario, the point of Mario is 3D Mario specifically is gaining height, right? I like the idea of this going very underground and being more destructive and hopefully more combat focused. I hope that we have a little bit more combat than you get in your Mario 3D games as well, because Donkey Kong's got that. I will say, my initial disappointment, I was just like, where's my 3D Mario? Why are you not launching with a 3D Mario game? Looking at it again, I think it does look really good. It does look really good.
Yeah.
And it's only a month away from launch, which is spectacular time frame.
I know. We get it in the summer. It's going to give us enough time with our launch that like when this comes, we can like really just be like, this is the one right now. And I just think it looks so clean and good. Like the fact that I also was hoping for a new 3D Mario. I might even be more excited about this. This is like I didn't know that I wanted this, and I want this because like I don't love 3D Mario because it's Mario. I love it because it's an incredibly high quality 3D platformer.
Yeah.
And this looks like another version of that, which is just if we're going to be getting regular more good 3D platformers from Nintendo, like in the same, open world and big style as Odyssey, then like I'm down, dude. I'm so down.
Yeah, I'm curious if this is going to be a hub world. Are we going to, be destroying our way to other worlds? Because it kind of looks like, you do like this one trailer where he does like this big shot down and then he ends up in a new world. How much are we going to be able to dig through levels? Like they showed that one part where he's just digging and it's just all dark around him. How are we going to guide our way around that? Are you limited on how much you can do? Can you go underground the entire level? There's tons of questions still, obviously. They see him climbing up the mountain. Can you just go through those mountains instead of going over them? There's just a bajillion questions about how that's going to play out. But I think just the massively destructive environments has me not just excited about this game, but I'm more excited about the potential for what it's going to mean for the next generation of these Nintendo 3D games that use this engine. So
yeah. It was such a pleasant surprise because we had those rumors going around like years now that the Mario Odyssey team was working on a Donkey Kong game, and like this has to be the fruition of those rumors. And the idea of that just like gets me so excited. I'm gonna love this game. I know it. I know for a fact I'm gonna love this game.
You know for a fact you're gonna love this game?
Fact, I'm gonna love it.
For a fact?
Indisputable fact. I'm gonna love this game.
Indisputable fact. I worry this is gonna be a game I'm gonna play 80% of and then just wake up one day and be like, I don't feel like playing this today.
No, I'm 100% in this thing for sure, dude.
I'm gonna be nitpicky here and say it's like something about the colors throwing me off a little bit. The amount of like purple, orange, bright yellow mixed with the dark. I don't know what it is, but it's not. I don't think the environments are hitting for me the way they are for you.
I mean that.
It looks foggy.
That's crazy to hear, honestly.
I know.
I'm shocked to hear it because I think it looks. I think it looks so good. I think the colors. I think like the worlds just look like a continuation of what we got in Mario Odyssey. Like the same kind of like, you see the grass looks similar, the snow area looks similar, the desert area, apart from, obviously having its own twists and differences compared to what we saw in Mario. But like the colors are vivid and the environments like all kind of look a little bit nice and cool and different and unique compared to each other. And golden flecks of whatever these ores are getting splashed around is like super satisfying. I think maybe I'm just being a big giant hater.
I
think it looks so good.
I'm a big giant hater.
It's possible. We can't rule it out. Anything is possible here. I like his ground pound where he just punches straight down. I think that's a really cool looking move for him too. Instead of stomping, like he punches down, like that's cool.
Yeah, I am like, I want to know how much I can break. Can I destroy this entire level? Can you destroy the level where you can't beat it? Like, I am very curious of how that's gonna work, how that's gonna play out. You know, how much trouble can you get yourself into? I'm sure they figured it out. They're Nintendo.
They're if there's after Tears of the Kingdom, there is no technological question in a game that they can't figure out.
No doubt. Yeah, how much of digging a hole is this game about?
Yeah, is this gonna remind me of digging a hole? Because that's really what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I just like digging a hole.
Okay, I'm gonna give you my last hot take about this. I think the box is way too similar to the original Switch box. I actually think it should be look drastically different than the original
I see where you're
Switch
coming.
box does.
Yeah.
And not. I don't think we're gonna have the Wii U situation.
No, they've got the big
all.
fat 2 on there and on the controller on there. Like it's very clear that this is the Switch 2.
But it's still like the red box, the same, like the way that the Joy-Cons like disconnected. Like I just think it's a little too similar. That I don't think it's going to be a mass problem like the Wii U was, but I think it's definitely going to have a few grandmas buying their grandkids the wrong con. I just got the cheaper one. What do you mean? What? I didn't know you wanted the Switch 2, honey. I thought the Switch 1 was just as good. It had the same box, you know?
Yeah. I don't think there's anything about the box that's going to affect Nintendo in an adverse way of like people not anyone who wants the Switch 2 it's not a confusing situation. It's very clear that it's a new console, that it is the number 2. It does look boring. The box is boring and it looks like the Switch 1 box, but I don't think it's going to be a problem, but I would like I like when the box looks cool.
Hear me out. The Switch 1 box is longer, and it has the colored Joy-Cons. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a problem, but I could definitely see there being confusion from the casual audience about which one to buy. That's all I'm saying.
It's definitely possible. Yeah.
I wish they would have at least like changed the red to white or black or something. You know what I mean? Just because having the red box as well with the same logo, just with a 2 next to it, and
the 2 is the biggest thing on there, though. And not only is it on the box, like in the corner, it's also like in the middle of the controller.
They even have the same bloom, though. Yeah, but they have the same bloom on the screen.
Yeah, they are using the same weird bloom on the screen. Weird that they don't just like put a game on the screen. Yeah, I do agree. I think it would look cool if the box had switched up and looked a little bit different. Like it looks a lot, like even in shape, a lot like the OLED box.
Mm-hmm. It does. They went with familiarity, maybe went a little too far. I think that I like keeping that, but I think that's something like PlayStation's been really good about, though, is
their box always looks different. Their packaging is always unique. Yeah.
While they still keep that same like classic PS logo, like the PS2 logo is different than the PS3 logo is different than the PS. You know what I mean? They still have that kind of switch. I know I said switch it up a little bit. Yeah. I think that could potentially hurt them a little bit. Especially when you're talking about like upgrades and everything. Those things start to get confusing for people.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's possible. I don't think it's a big worry though. I think we might be a little more aware of the risk of it after the Wii to Wii U.
Yes.
But with this one, especially with how big the Switch 2 is going to be, and especially with like, it is a very clear next name. Like one, you could even say like the 3DS and the DS. Like the 3DS was like confusing in the way that like a mom or grandma could think, oh, it's just like your DS, but it's 3D. No, grandma, this actually plays different new games that my old one can't play. This one is, oh, this is a Switch 2. Like that's not very confusing, I think, to the majority of non-gamer consumers.
Yes. Yeah. It's interesting. Get mom, give me the one with the C button. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I don't think it's really going to affect it drastically, but maybe like 100,000, 500,000 units, maybe in that, over a 70 million units, you might have a mistake or two.
Yeah, you'll probably have a grandparent buy a Switch instead of a Switch 2 at some point. Sure. Hopefully that grandparent holds on to the receipt.
Do you think we're going to get a price drop on the Switch 1? Or do you think they're going to keep it at 300?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like just to clear out inventory, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think why do we think? I don't think Switch 2 is confusing. I'm saying the box is confusing. And what I was saying, Red Zephon, with the PS1 to PS2, they have a completely different logo. Like the PS2 logo is that slick blue screen. They changed the colors. They changed the boxing. They went from gray to a black console. There's a big difference between each of these consoles that we're talking about when the way PlayStation did it. For instance, I don't think Xbox 360 to Xbox One was super smooth. I think Xbox One to Xbox S and X has been horrid.
Oh yeah,
right?
Terrible, absolutely atrocious. Yeah,
yeah.
Especially because they had an Xbox One X.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think that I'm not talking about us. I think there are grandmas out there that are going to be getting out there that their kid's going to ask for a Switch 2, and they're going to go and they're going to see these two boxes and think they're the same, similar things but different SKUs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't understand the Xbox naming either. I don't know which Xbox is better than the other one.
The X is the best one.
Is it?
Yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense, to be fair. That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, the Xbox Series X is like the one for people who want like the good, strong console. The Series S is the one that you buy for your nephew because he's 12 and you don't want to spend any more money than that.
Yeah. Was there any talk about Joy-Con drift? No, Nintendo did not mention Joy-Con drift during their presentation.
Yeah, I don't think
for
Nintendo,
some crazy reason.
I don't think Nintendo will ever acknowledge it to you. Like, if you reach out to them about it, you might get, I don't know what their process is for dealing with it, but they're never going to be like, by the way, it doesn't drift anymore. Sorry about that one.
Yeah, they absolutely did not mention that, nor will they mention that. And will it be fixed on the new one? If it's not, I would be shocked. Shocked. If there's any Joy-Con drift in this new one. But that'd be pretty funny. That'd be pretty fun. Do we know how long the Nintendo's going to make Switch ones? I'd imagine as long as they sell.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no shortage of software coming out for Switch, the original Switch.
Yeah, we still have I guess Pokemon ZA and Metroid Prime 4 are kind of like the last of the Switch 1 big launch releases that we know of right now. And as far as those go, they're going to have support on... they're going to have support for the Switch 2 to be looking good and feeling good and playing good on those too.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why the Switch 1 would be ending anytime soon, to be honest.
I guess Rhythm Heaven as well. Yeah, they did tease that. And Tamagotchi Life. Yeah. But any of the big flagships for Nintendo, we're going to be getting those on Switch 2 from here on out.
Faster loading times, the fact that they can get titles to work on both. You imagine ports of old games, indie games will still release on both. Well, they said you can transfer your software, that you'll be able to day one transfer your software over. They do have titles that don't work or work poorly.
Yeah, there's like 120 games in their list.
Looking at the list, it didn't affect me much.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't see any games in that list that was like, oh, okay. I'm disappointed about that.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think it'll affect speedrunning times? Probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Pure speculation. Breath of the Wild and Tears are very load-dependent speedruns already. They already run, like, Breath of the Wild runs faster in Wii U, or did run faster in Wii U.
Yeah, and honestly, if it's... Yeah. I remember playing, like, they are obviously going to deal with it in probably their own intelligent and smart way, but I remember the like, playing an emulator of Breath of the Wild, like, running in 60 FPS made it so that game... The physics was different when the game was running at a higher frame rate. Like, bomb launches would go... I feel like either farther or not as far. I can't remember when you had the frame rate at 60 versus 30. So, like, who knows what the implications of a different frame rate is going to be for the speedrun. It's either going to be way faster or not as... It'll go one way or the other, really. But it will change.
It is interesting. I am curious how that's going to play out. We're going to play Super Mario Party Jamboree when the Switch 2 comes out. Well, that doesn't launch for a month after, so once it launches, I'm sure. Weird that they're going with the GameCube version of Wind Waker instead of remaster. Well, you could play the remaster on, like, you could just play it, because it's on the Switch anyway. You can just play it.
The Wind Waker one isn't, no.
Isn't the Wind Waker one on the Switch? That was Wii U? I thought they ported that one to the Switch, too, though.
Just Skyward Sword.
Oh.
Twilight Princess and Wind Waker got remakes on the Wii U, and they never got ported to the Switch.
I thought the Wind Waker one was on the Switch too, for some reason.
Yeah, they got it still on the. They just got that bad boy still just on the Wii U.
The only Wii U game not ported over.
I know, which is crazy because it probably sell really well.
I think that's why I just assumed it was. I just assumed it was on there.
That's why I was so surprised that they showed Wind Waker as the GameCube game. Like, why aren't they just re-releasing Wind Waker and charging people for it? Because they'll pay.
Yeah,
they will pay. That's for sure.
That is a little strange.
Yeah.
Weird choice for sure. The one game should be free like Astro's Playroom. That's not even a game, dude. Nobody buy that. Nobody buy that, please.
Yeah.
Don't buy that one. I don't care how little it costs. Do not buy that.
It is ridiculous. Yeah. It's a weird. Like a while back I read the book that Reggie put out about his time at Nintendo and his career in general, and like Nintendo, he fought tooth and nail for them to include Wii Sports. He had to fly to Japan 6 times and go to board meetings with Nintendo of Japan to be like, guys, we have to include Wii Sports with the Wii. Like, we can't not include it. And they were just so against him, like tooth and nail. We're like, you are dumb, you are stupid, we don't do that. And now that he's gone, they're back to their not including games ways of the past.
It's so stupid. I mean, especially when you have if they would not have included Wii Sports, that we would have bombed. It would have absolutely bombed.
It would have
having that as a packet was so huge.
It was essential. Yeah.
1-2 Switch should have been a pack-in as well. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Have a pack-in with a super gimmicky ass game that shows all the new stuff your console does.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Fuck. Yeah, who cares, man? Dude, Wii Sports is the only game you needed for the Wii. Dude, bowling on Wii Sports is fun.
So good.
1-2 Sports. Well, I always thought 1-2 Sports would be the Wii Sports of the Switch, or 1-2 Switch.
Yeah, 1-2 Switch would have been a great pack-in game, showcase the shit your controller can do, and you play it 4 times. No one would have gotten that crazy about it. It was no Wii Sports, but it was still would have been. I would have been excited to have it packed in for sure.
Yeah. Even as you're playing mini games, they even call these mini games in tech demos, which is funny for this. Yeah. Nobody buy this game, please. Nobody buy this. Clearly should have been packed in Nintendo Switch 2. It's even called Welcome Tour. How do you call it Welcome Tour and then make people pay for it? No, you will not buy it.
Ridiculous.
You will not buy it. When you could buy that, you could just sub to a Twitch streamer.
If you buy this game and I have proof of it, you're banned from my chat. I will not tolerate the presence of someone who would pay for this.
The presence of someone that would pay for it. If it was packed in with, yeah, you need to have, it's free with Nintendo Switch Online.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah. You couldn't, like, I wouldn't even want to play this if it came with the Switch. You know what I mean? They made it look that boring.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It does. It looks so boring. Why are all the people there? It doesn't even make sense that they have a bunch of little people there because I thought those were other little people you could talk to.
Why wouldn't they be Mii's? Like, Nintendo has a staple avatar thing. No, definitely not, because they just threw in like Tamagotchi life as that big thing. Yeah. Like, why not just use Mii's?
I don't know. You saw it as soon as it was bubbled?
Yeah, you would assume it was bundled based off of what it is, but Nintendo be Nintendo, man.
Yeah. If you buy this, chat, you're not allowed to complain about the price at all.
Yeah, if you buy this, I don't want to hear shit about the cost of eggs from you for the rest of your life. I don't want to hear a fucking word.
We'll give the people a manual as a game. They'll love it. It's so... It's not even... It's just a bunch of, like... Look at our magnets and look at our this. That's what I think is really weird about it.
Yeah, what if it's like Astrobot? Look at the gameplay. It's literally just signposts telling you about the console.
And shaking a maraca with your mouse, which you could have just shaken it with your motion control.
God.
I don't know. Yeah, that one was a frustrating one that they even wasted time showing us that.
There's got to be like 3 people out of the 7 who are like the final line of defense in like what goes into this presentation. And those 3 people are like, guys, you don't understand how badly we're embarrassing ourselves with this.
Yeah, that one's like, we got to give credit to Astrobot because they out Nintendo on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we gotta give that one. Oh man, anything else we want to talk about, discuss, chat? Any other questions or speculation you want to hear? You feel like the wheelchair basketball still looks bad? I didn't think it looked good, but I thought it looked
interesting,
fun enough.
Yeah. I think it's
hologram.
I have been racking my brain for the last 4 hours trying to think of how I would incorporate a game that utilizes 2 mice and motion controls, and I haven't been able to come up with anything better than wheelchair basketball, honestly.
It is the best. It is kind of the best way. We need a game where you use 2 mice and then you pull them up off the table for some reason, wave them around.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Yeah, that one's pretty it. Valorant on Switch 2 win. Is it on the other consoles or probably on Switch 2? OSU on Switch 2, I could see that. Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about, is that a lot of the games using the mouse are going to be weird for a lot of people to play.
Yeah. Not having a table in front of most people's gaming spot, like on a TV, it's going to be weird.
Yeah.
Get the idea, but it feels weird to go from arms to wheelchair basketball. It is a really funny generational pivot, yeah.
Oh man, I mean the wheelchair basketball game is tech demo that they made out to the
thing,
but like that's the problem. Are they going to try to charge $60 for that game?
If it's going to be 30 minimum, and I won't buy it.
Is the manual game $60? Like, what is it gonna? How expensive is it gonna be?
I need to know how expensive the manual game is going to be. Yeah.
I don't think you need a mouse pad. I think for their mouse, you don't need a mouse pad, is what they keep making it feel like.
Yeah, from everything we're seeing, it doesn't look like you need it.
Oh, the OG Switch. I forgot I didn't have the OG Switch box on screen. I was just letting her run. Did we see Mario Kart's $80? Yeah, GTA 6 is $150.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mario Kart's 80, and then it looked like Donkey Kong was 70.
Donkey Kong is confirmed 70 as far as we're aware at this point, yeah. And then Yeah, we got Mario Kart at 80. I wonder if we'll be seeing any 60s or if those days are gone.
I mean, where do they? Even this last generation, they've been 70, right?
I feel like the only 70 on Nintendo has been Tears of the Kingdom.
Huh. 60s are the new 50s. Yeah, I mean, I think most people are going to be buying the Mario. Anyway.
Yeah. The Mario Kart bundle, it's $50 more to get Mario Kart with your console. Most people will be buying the bundle, I think.
Yeah.
Because who wants a Switch and says, I don't want Mario Kart? Nobody.
The upgrade packs seem to be $10, but the Zelda ones are coming for free with Nintendo Switch Online. Yeah. Given those prices, looks like the biggest announcement they've made today is that you'll be emulating everything. Well, you might have to wait a little bit for Switch 2 emulation.
Yeah,
so.
it's probably not coming too soon.
Yeah.
Mario Wonder upgrade pack is free, right? I think there was a bunch of games that are getting like free upgrade. Like I think they showed Mario Wonder, the Pokemon games.
Yeah, like they're upgrading, but maybe we're just getting like more resolution for.
Yeah, I think the ones that are getting free ones are going to be like very minimal changes.
Yeah, Mario Wonder wasn't on the paid upgrade list, but it was on the like a different list they showed. It was on a website. Yeah. Weirdly, New Super Mario Brother U was. New Super Mario Brother U, chat, for Nintendo Switch sold like 17 million copies.
Did really well.
Mario Maker 2 was on the list of games, yeah, too. Yeah, it was. Just one console away from having our face superimposed on Toad's.
So close.
What is this outfit she's got? Mario Maker 2 mouse controls? I think that's what they would need to upgrade. Camera's $50. All right. Any final thoughts? Pretty hyped.
I agree. I'm excited. I think I walked in very excited. I was not disappointed. Everything we saw is just so cool looking.
Yeah, and then in the absolute utter shock, the utter ridiculous shock of getting a Miyazaki game.
Yeah, man, so wild.
Yeah, that one is really good. Will we ever have a more hyped Nintendo Direct? Oh, I'm sure we've had and will have.
Yeah,
but you know, Xwater, did you know that Jesus loves you? He died on a cross for your sins.
I've heard that. Yeah, I did. I have heard that before.
But have an everlasting life? Ooh, an everlasting life sounds horrible. Why would you want that? That's such a weird thing to want. Ugh. You know what? You just made me not believe in Jesus. I did believe in him before, but now I don't. Sorry. Biggest announcement is Silksong breaking radio silence. Was that the first time they've done anything with Silksong?
In a very long time. I don't know when the last time we had Silksong news. Maybe like 4 years. I don't know. God, I just can't wait for smooth Breath of the Wild and Tears, dude. They look so good.
I had no desire to replay these games, and now, just looking at them, the upgrade, they look so
As long as it's been long enough, they are so, like, going back to them doesn't feel like it feels good to go back to them if it's been a while.
Been at least 2 years.
Woo!
That's been at least 2 years. Oh, man. Your Jesus is going to buy the Switch too? Yeah, he's going to get nailed to the Joy-Cons first. Since I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, my God.
I'm so sorry. I know. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
You're ridiculous.
You want to play Mario Baseball?
Right now?
I mean, I don't know. Anytime, but,
I'll play right now. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to play right now?
Can I get like 5 minutes to get some food?
Yeah, I would love to have 5 minutes. I have not done anything so far this morning. I smell.
All right, let's take a little break and then we'll come back. We'll play some baseball.
All right.
All right, I'll see you in a bit.
All right. I'll be right back, chat.